Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about Shutterfly. If you're like us, you take a lot of pictures because you have a camera right in your hand all the time. How would you not take a lot of pictures? And we're taking all these pictures, more than we've ever taken in the history of the world.
What are you going to do with them all?
That's the thing. You used to get a solid picture, and then you'd look through them, and you could enjoy them. Now they're like back on your camera roll. You can't even find them. You don't want that. That's why the cool thing you need to do, and what I did, and I think it's pretty cool, is create a Shutterfly photo book.
Oh.
What I did, and you're going to enjoy this, Jimmy, because I haven't showed this to you yet, but took all of our pictures from being on tour this year.
Oh.
All live show pictures, us backstage, us on stage, doing all that stuff, and like some of the, just the venues and things, and made a little photo book out of that. Also, they have free 24-hour designer service as well. With their 24-hour designer service, a professional designer is going to lay out the book for you for free in just a day. Make something that means something with Shutterfly. Enjoy 40% off orders over $29 with promo code SMALLTOWN. See site for promotional details.
And now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to get you styled up with Stitch Fix. Shopping's hard. It's hard. With Stitch Fix, you get a stylist, though, who understands your style, your size, your budget, and they do all the shopping for you.
Wow.
This is excellent. Shopping, I'm telling you, shopping and figure out your style, it's overwhelming. Let somebody help you when it comes to getting dressed. We don't know what we're doing, so we let Stitch Fix help us out. A Stitch Fix stylist there. They know what works on us. We get the prices that make us look really good, and it feels good. You get some confidence boost walking around knowing that you're looking decent here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we just give the stylist our sizes, style, budget preferences. We order boxes when we want, how we want, no subscription or any of that required. And they send called Just For Me pieces as well. Like, maybe you'd like this, and it's awesome. Outfit recommendations, styling tips. You keep what you love, you send back the rest. It's super easy.
Yep.
You can do it, and we are doing it because it's excellent. Personal styling for everyone. Get started today at stitchfix.com/STM. That's stitchfix.com/STM.
Now back to the show.
This message comes from Greenlight. Ready to start talking to your kids about financial literacy? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app that teaches kids and teens how to earn, save, spend wisely, and invest with your guardrails in place. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on your kids' spending with real-time notifications. Join millions of parents and kids building healthy financial habits together on Greenlight. Get started risk-free at greenlight.com/Wondery.
This week in Troy, Illinois, when a drifter is found in a stolen car, it leads to a brutal discovery and more. Welcome to Small Town Murder. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Small Town Murder.
Yay!
Oh, yay, indeed, Jimmy. Yay, indeed. I'm James Pietragallo. I'm here with my
Jimmy
co-host.
Whisman, sorry.
Who is really ahead of the game here. He's so amped up. He's so amped up. This is our flyaway episode. So he's so amped to get to the airport when we're done recording that he's like, if I just talk before you're done, we'll get this done in half the time.
Are we done yet?
We can get right to the airport there. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody. We have an awesome episode for you as usual. Hope you enjoyed last week and all the craziness and that was an insane episode last week.
My favorite part is that somebody messaged me that's related to her.
That was wild. The victim of this of the crime.
And the stepson told me more. It's fucking. It doesn't matter. It's fucking horrific. And they believe that there was more.
And they weren't mad at us, which was good. They said we did a good job, so that was nice anyway. I was happy that they weren't like, you guys are jerks.
And they were at our first live show in Boston, which is fucking crazy.
That is super weird. Well, that's interesting. Well, anyway, I hope you enjoyed that show this week. Wild show for you again. We're going to head to the central part of the country here and see what's going on there. Want to thank everybody quickly for the reviews this week. Thank you, Apple Podcasts, the purple icon. We don't know why it helps you on the charts, but it does. It drives you up those podcast charts, which helps get more eyeballs on you, gets you more listeners. So if you can help us out there, if you haven't done it yet, give us 5 stars. Doesn't matter what you say. Right. Say, these people told me to do this. That's good enough.
You're doing the Lord's work.
You're doing whoever's work.
You're moving it.
You're doing it. It helps a lot. So thank you for doing that. If you want, go to shutupandgivememurder.com. That is where you can find everything related to small town murder, all of your merchandise, lots of cool stuff. We have skateboards. So if you're looking for, like, I wonder if they have mugs. We do, because we even have skateboards. Yeah. So it's there. We have shower curtains. Yeah. You can have a shower curtain.
Bath mats.
The bath mats that say, yay, indeed. It's fine. You can have all this stuff if you want.
It's fine.
It's fine. It's good stuff. I'm not going to say it's the greatest thing, and it's a bath mat.
Right.
But
it's fine.
You can look at it and go, that's fine right there. That looks good. So get your fine things there. Also, your crime and sports stuff.
Yeah.
If you haven't not listened to crime and sports, I don't know what you're doing.
You're blowing it.
You're blowing it.
Yeah.
You don't have to like sports. It's almost better if you don't like sports. But if you do, you'll like it also. Yeah, because we're going to make fun of these people.
You're going to be surprised how little I know about sports.
It's pretty interesting. It really is, considering he's wearing sports shirts all the time, and
I love sports.
Watches it constantly.
I don't remember any of it.
Bounces right off.
I go, that was cool.
That was neat. So yeah, head there. Also, get your tickets to live shows this weekend. If you're listening when it comes out today, we're in Pittsburgh. That's sold out tonight. On Friday night, tomorrow night, we are in Philly. There's still some tickets left for Philly at the Fillmore, so get those tickets. And then on Sunday night, we are in Washington, D.C.
As long as our rental car holds up.
If it holds up and gets us there, we'll be down in Washington, D.C. at the 9:30, whatever that is, at theater 9:30 Club. It's a nice theater, so come check us out there. And then otherwise, pretty much the rest of the tour, there's about 30 tickets left total. Everything is pretty much sold out. There's like 5 tickets left here and 2 tickets left here.
Right.
So that's it, except that Nashville is even sold out now for April. So crime and sports, though, in April, Nashville, still a few tickets left there. Get yours April 8th right there. And also, thank you to everybody this week, our producers.
Yeah.
The one we have to give the biggest thank you to, our producers, for everything.
Why we have a rental car.
That's right. Thank you for that. If you want to become a producer, one of our favorite people who we'll talk about at the end of the show in glowing terms, you can do that by going to patreon.com/crimeandsports or head over to PayPal and use our email address, crimeandsports@gmail.com. And you can find both of those links right from shutupandgivememurder.com. Quick disclaimer this week here. It's a comedy show. It's a comedy podcast. If you're new to the show, everything is real. Yeah. Nothing's made up for comedic effect, but we're comedians, so we're going to make jokes. Sure. We make jokes about small towns because we're all from a small town, and we can all take a joke. It's fine. Everybody's from somewhere crappy. That's the way it works. We're all adults here. And if you're children listening, welcome aboard. I don't know what to tell you, but this is how adults talk.
I hope you're with an adult.
I hope you're with an adult that's guiding you through this process. We try not to. What we go out of our way not to do is we try not to make fun of the victims or the victims' families.
Why?
Because we're assholes, but we're not scumbags.
There you go.
That's how that works. So if that sounds good to you, we are going to have a blast. You think true crime and comedy should never go together? Have a good one. This isn't going to work. You're probably not going to like it. Don't listen and then complain later. That's all that is. But for everybody else,
polite about it right now.
That's fine.
But if you come back and you're rude, don't make me be rude.
That's what we're talking about. So that works. So if that sounds good to you, I think it's time for everybody to sit back, let it flow through you, and shout, "Shut up and give me murder!" Let's go on a trip, Jimmy.
Fantastic.
What do you say? Let's do this. Let's go on a trip. We're coming from the East Coast last week, and we are going to the central part of the nation here, Illinois.
Oh.
Going to Troy, Illinois.
Troy,
which you've probably never heard of.
No, except for the
town.
one in you know. You know where it's
Greece?
At. Yeah.
Is that what you're going for? The original Troy, I would assume?
That's the one.
Yeah. No, this is Troy, Illinois.
the one where Brad Pitt lives.
Yeah. No, it definitely doesn't live in Troy, Illinois. I'll tell you that much now. That would be not glamorous here. It's in southwestern Illinois. It's more Missouri than Chicago.
Okay.
It's one of those. Like Illinois, you can kind of break it up into northern Illinois, Chicago, and anywhere within kind of quick driving distance of Chicago.
Yeah.
And then the rest is kind of the south.
Yeah. Lots of crossed eyes.
Differing differing, varying degrees of the South as you go into different places. It's interesting. This is Southwestern.
Southern Illinois is creepy.
It's the South.
Yeah.
You're in the South. There's a documentary called Stevie. Have you ever seen it? It's made by Steve James, who's the guy who made Hoop Dreams. I'm sure you remember that one. It's a very popular, very award-winning documentary. And it's about, he was a big brother in the Big Brother program to some kid who was kind of a disastrous kid. And then Steve James went away to college and he went to make movies and shit. And this was him coming back to see what happened to that kid. And the kid's a mess. Yeah. I mean, he's a mess. An absolute, he lives in like a trailer on his grandmother's property, and he's got like a mentally challenged girlfriend. I mean, that's fine, but then he's a disaster. He's in and out of jail, and he's like a total dirtbag. And during the course of the documentary, he gets accused of molesting his niece, who's like 9 years old, and it goes over the process of this.
How much worse can it get?
And so he's going to go to prison, so he goes to the guy who's the head of the local Aryan Brotherhood, and they meet in a field to ask him if he can protect him in prison because of his charges. And
This
he's
is
like,
real?
I'm running the Aryan Brotherhood around here. Oh, absolutely. And the funniest thing about it is he's meeting with the Aryan Brotherhood head, and he's like asking for jail protection. He's like, well, what you gonna do? You know, people going, you think you deserve protection? He's doing all this shit. And the head of the Aryan Brotherhood has I don't know if he's second in command, somebody riding shotgun with him there. And this guy just with his mullet, and he's staring through Stevie the whole time while this other guy's talking, and he's wearing a Les Mis shirt. And it's the funniest thing I've ever seen. I'm like, why? He just got that out of some collection pile at a church or something. He has no idea what he's wearing.
Does it say Les Mis or does it
say
Les
Miserables? I'm like, what? He's in a field talking about whether the Aryan Brotherhood will protect a child molester in prison to its southern
He just saw the word miserable. Yeah. He's like, I'm wearing it.
He's like, I'm miserable. I'll make other people miserable. Weird stuff here. So sorry to go off on a tangent, but that's
hilarious.
That's a photo of a little time capsule of Southern Illinois there. That's the snow globe. If you shake it up, you get that. Aryan Brotherhood's in a field talking about, whether they're going to protect a child molester while wearing a Les Mis shirt. Weird stuff. So this is in southwestern Illinois, like I said. 25.
Where the fuck do you find that documentary?
It's on. I think it's on Amazon Prime now. I found it years ago on Sundance
How the
Channel.
Fuck did you find that?
I like things like it's a weird like cinema verite documentary.
You find gold like that, and I
love documentaries.
Adam Sandler movies over and over and over
We've
again.
talked about it. Well, you've seen Dope Sick Love, so you know things.
Thanks to you, though. I saw
wonderful.
that in my 30s.
Oh, okay. Yeah. See, I saw that. I've been watching that repeatedly for a long time. I scope out I need to see Misery up close. This is 25 minutes to St. Louis. Speaking of Misery up close, no offense, St. Louis, so we'll be there at the end of the month. Thank you. Few tickets left for Chicago, by the way.
Right.
In December, there's literally a dozen tickets left. So sell that out this week. 4 hours and 15 minutes to Chicago from Troy. 4 hours to Bloomingdale, Illinois, which was episode 105.
Bloomingdale,
Illinois. Yeah, that was the kind of not a cult leader, but hard to explain.
Some shit like that.
Yeah. Madison County this is in, as in the bridges of. I don't think it's that state, but
or Wisconsin.
There. Yeah. Right. But it's still Madison County. Zip code 62294, area code 618. It is 5 square miles.
Oh. That's a little.
It's the motto is everything within reach, or St. Louis is right there.
Yeah.
That's the other one they have. That's what they have. That's really the only thing within reach.
Well, but things that are within reach, fucking go get it then, and don't be here.
And leave.
Get the fuck out.
Now, history of this town. It was platted in 1819, so there's that. Yeah. That's laid out there. Jesus Christ. There was other towns to the east of it that were settled earlier, and then Jedediah Woolley, who was the Jedediah. That's how you know you're back in time.
It's been a minute.
Not a lot of Jedediahs walking around out there these days. I gotta say, we're gonna get a lot of tweets going, my son's name is Jedediah.
Right.
Like I'm sure it is.
You blew it.
Yeah, that's you messed up.
Is your other one Hezekiah?
Hezekiah and Jedediah. They're going to raise a barn, and then they go to school after that.
And then Jeremiah, which actually gets a decent name because you can call him Jeremy.
That's better.
You can't call the other one Hezekiah or Hezekiah.
Hez and Jed?
Right.
No.
Hez?
No, that's not
you got to go the whole thing. Hezekiah.
Hezekiah.
Oh, boy.
Dinner. Hezekiah.
The worst.
No, you can't.
A 4-syllable name?
No,
Jesus.
No. So Jedediah, at least you can make it Jed, but then you just sound like an idiot.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. He was the first surveyor in the county and was an early settler here. And he was from Ohio, and he came with his son, who he named Jedediah Jr.
Stop
Of
that.
course,
Did he really?
absolutely. Said life has worked out so well for me with this name. I feel like I need to bestow it upon another.
Somebody else must be punished as well.
Yeah, and his son-in-law, whose name was Alfred. So Alfred and the pair of Jedediahs came there.
I knew an Alfred.
Well, there's lots of Alfreds.
Yeah.
I've known Alfreds
That's
too.
a good name,
Alfred's
actually.
fine.
It's a tough name.
Al.
Yeah.
Big Al.
Yeah.
Oh, Big Al.
Right.
You big hairy bastard. Get over here. It's Big Al.
Right.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Alfred's
there.
a good one.
Alfred's good, but Jedediah not as cool.
No.
So I feel like that was Al, like leading the pack, going, "Hey, oh Jedediah, get your ass up here, come on,
Catch up, you lazy fuck.
you bums." So in 1819, they got 10 acres of land in southern Illinois, and that became what Troy was. A settler there named John Jarvis sold the 10 acres for $10 an acre to another $100 for 10 acres.
That's a deal.
That's a steal.
Yeah.
As we'll do the real estate report later. It's more expensive than that now. So,
Slightly.
yeah, there used to be known as Columbia, but then they mapped out Troy, and that was that. And within a year, there was 120 people there, and it's kind of steadily grown since then. Still not huge, but in the beginning, they had a band mill, a storehouse, a couple of taverns. It's the Midwest.
People like to get fucked up.
You got to have some pickled eggs. Yeah, they got a walleye special on Fridays, boy. I'll tell you, it's pretty good. You got to get in there.
Places that just sell beer and wine. That's it.
Yeah.
No hard liquor.
No, oh man, that's come in and get drunk.
Yeah,
and
slowly.
Very
slow as fuck.
Well, come in and pee a lot is what that says. Come in and pee 12 times. Enjoy. You're going to pee a whole lot
before
later.
you're buzzed.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
Jesus.
So they had taverns, they had some houses. They got a post office in 1833, and we know that's, oh boy, once you got a post office, you're legit
Things are
there.
kicking off.
Oh yeah, and it would become the first stagecoach stop for travelers to and from St. Louis, basically. So
Got it.
that was the first stop where you could get off and take a leak outside of St. Louis. I feel like one of there. By 1850, it grew to 250 people. A lot of things going on there. They had a stagecoach shop. Oh boy. Troy became a legally recognized town in 1857. They had more farms, industries, shops, schools opened up.
Sure.
They had a newspaper pop up in 1872, which, that's another thing that kind of legitimizes you a little bit. See Deadwood.
Yeah.
No,
I will.
See Deadwood, Jimmy. Watch it. You'll know what I mean. So they had a railroad.
I really liked Timothy Oliphant.
You'd love the show.
I will.
It's guys in the Old West drinking and threatening each other and stabbing each other and prostitutes. It's your show. You would love it the most. I watch it and I go,
the word
this is up
cocksucker.
Jimmy's up alley, man. This is his show. This is like, you'd relate everything in your whole life to it. I'm telling you. Al Swearingen be your favorite person.
Buying a car and I'm like, this is one like on Deadwood.
This is like, listen, man. Come on.
There's a spot in Deadwood that really just lines right up with this experience
No
right now.
shit. You have no idea what I'm talking about.
I'll watch it.
So a railroad stop came in the late 1800s, and that helped increase the population. If you can be on the railroad line, that's going to help a lot. Madison County became a big industrial region in the late 1800s. And then in the 1900s, it was known for granite ware.
Oh.
Ooh. I don't know. They made granite shit. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know.
Not countertops.
No, I doubt then they were, 1905 granite countertops. And
landscaping and countertops. That's all I know that's granite now.
I know nothing. And also steel mills, they had oil refineries and a bunch of other heavy industry that would pollute
That's
the air.
city stuff.
That's it. That's the whole county because it's like it's right outside of St. Louis. So you're going to have anything that doesn't fit right in the city. They'll put it out there and, pollute the shit out of the suburbs.
Yeah.
They didn't care back then, and we'll see it. They still really don't.
There's a reason the shit's cheap out there.
As we'll talk. Yeah, that's the problem here. Now, industrial, basically the way industry kind of ebbs and flows, and industries go away, and heavy industries kind of reduce. That's reduced the population of the county because there's less jobs there, and so now it's kind of a semi-rural county. Basically, it's not a real big place. They say that they want to keep Troy's small town charm, but you can commute to St. Louis. That's
easy. Nobody's moving there.
That's the problem. They have a lot lately, as we'll talk about in a minute here. Everybody says it's still got charm. It's still got charm. Yeah. It also has an issue that the EPA had to get involved in.
Oh, shit.
In the Environmental Protection Agency, if you're not from the U.S. In 2009, an air pollution report from the EPA ranked Madison County as the county with the second highest cancer risk in the country due to air pollution, second only to Los Angeles County.
Wow.
So basically, the smog in L.A. or this place are the two worst in the entire country.
Unbelievable.
You'll die from breathing.
One has ungodly
20 million people, and one is just a dump. That's it. With no people.
Everything just settles over, apparently.
They have 20 million people worth of shit going on in the air. It's bad stuff.
How many people are there?
We'll talk about it in a second. I have a couple of reviews first. I'd like to get to.
Fucking fascinating.
It's wild. Reviews here. Here's a review. This is a 2-star review. Quote, my mother moved us to Troy in 2001 and is still a resident today. Honestly, not much has changed since. Same fast food restaurants. The only grocery store in town is extremely overpriced. Expensive groceries, good God, and not diverse at all. Nots in all capital letters. It's a grocery store. Public transportation sucks if you have bad luck with vehicles. Well, it sounds like you have your own problems. You can't afford the food and you don't have a car. I feel like, and you're in a small town, you're not in Manhattan. Right. Like, I feel like this is a problem of you at this point.
5 square miles, bro. You can walk it.
Well, then he says it's really full of well-off, quote, privileged, spoiled brats. So he's that's bitter, this person. If you've ever needed help or happen to struggle, Troy doesn't offer much help for being a pretty wealthy town. The schools are a joke. If you're not a brown-nosing parent, chances are your child isn't well-liked by the staff or teachers. The cops harass people for the stupidest reasons, especially if you happen to live on the Meadow Drive, the quote ghetto of Troy. I could go on and on. There's no opportunity here, no jobs unless you want to work at a gas station. If your child gets sick in the middle of the night, plan on driving to the next town over for medicine. It's just not worth the price they want you to pay to live here. 2 stars. Still 2 though. Not 1.
Everybody's riddled with cancer.
Everybody is riddled. Now the problem too is everybody's review all talks about the excessive amount of gas stations. I don't know what the fuck is going on in this town with the gas stations, but everybody talks about why is there so many gas stations.
Interesting.
Out of like 30 reviews, 20 of them mention gas stations. I'm not even shitting you. Just like blah, 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 blah. By the way, why is there so many gas stations in this town? Like, that was literally every review.
Interesting.
Like, just way too many. I don't know, because it's a stopover outside of St. Louis.
And there's also refinery that used to be there or still is.
Just dump it all here.
Right.
We'll hold it for a while.
If it was a holdover, if it was a stopping place before, I'll bet
it still is. If you're driving out,
it's probably competition. You dummies. It's called capitalism.
You probably in a small town, 30 gas stations. That's
how many
stupid
is it
capitalism.
Now?
A lot, apparently, more than's necessary.
Enough for several complaints.
Enough for people to notice. Like, there's a lot. I assume if you're driving from St. Louis to Chicago, this is like the first probably decent sized town outside of the city that you can stop for gas. Okay. So it's probably that's all it is.
If there's several intersections with every corner as a gas station, then
that's what's happening here. Right. 2 stars on this one. Quote, Illinois is the worst state in the country and I hate it. That's the whole review. 2 stars though, for some reason.
The
still
state,
not 1. Whole state.
Whole goddamn state.
Whole state. 3. Here's one. 3 stars. Quote, not much crime, but there is occasionally, but no murders. Now we're going to tell you that there is.
You big liar.
So we know that. Notable people here. Paul Simon. The senator, not the senator. Not that one. You're like, I thought he's from New York. Yeah, no, he's not from...
I thought Paul Simon was from fucking England or something.
No, Paul Simon's American.
Who am I looking at in my head
Paul
right
Simon.
now? I see somebody in my head right now. For sure he has a British accent.
Yeah, it's not Paul Simon. He had a Beatle haircut in the 70s.
In my head, he's
60s.
wearing a Paul Simon name tag.
Yeah, and him and Garfunkel aren't English.
No, okay. Different guy. Different guy.
And this is U.S. Senator Paul Simon, who's a totally different guy. Also, a Cy Young Award-winning pitcher for the St. Louis Browns. So that's named Bob Turley. It's been a minute there. Yeah, he was born there. Also, in 1900, they had about 1,080 people. Today, they have 10,208 people.
Oh.
So up 69% since 1990. Yeah. So it's boomed.
That's a lot of people for that small area.
6,000 people in 1990. It's really boomed a lot here. More females than males by a long shot. 55% female, which is super weird because the double... The young population's high. Usually, if there's a lot of old people, it'll be more females. Here, it's almost double the 25 to 34-year-old demographic. Almost double, and also all the kids. There's more kids, and there's about half the old people. Over 75 population, about half of those. So it's young, but still more females. It's weird. Way more married people. It's usually 50-50. Here, it's about 59% married. So a lot there going on with that. Not a lot of single with no children. It's a suburb. I mean, if you live in St. Louis, you can, or if you work in St. Louis, you can live out here. And that's kind of how it works. Race of this town, 88% white. So pretty white to be that close to St. Louis. So it's,
Chicago.
Well, it's 4.5 hours from
Still
Chicago.
Close enough.
I guess. But I don't know how many our Aryan Brotherhood members would play Miz shirts. So I'm not positive about that. We have to get that stat. That's a separate one. 2.4% black, 2.2% Asian, and 5.2% Hispanic. So it's a pretty white town, basically. The religion, it's usually 50-50. Here it's 49%, so right on the money. There's a few Baptists, a few Catholics are about the same, Pentecostal, Methodists. It's the middle of the country. There's all sorts of shit mixed in there. It's part the South, it's part city people, it's part everybody there. So it's one of those things. 0.0% Jewish. It is not Jewish. That's one thing. One thing it's not is Jewish.
Very not.
1.2% Islam, so there's Muslims, but no Jewish people at all. 38.9% Democrat in the last election in Madison County, and 54% Republican there, 7% independent, which is actually high in the independent factor. Unemployment rate here is slightly high, but it's not high. It's higher than the average, but not high as far as it's 4.1, which is super low, but high for right now. Household income, normally it's about $58,000. Here, $71,346 for median household income. There's a lot less people that make under $30,000 here than normal. So there's not a lot of
privileged people.
It's a more privileged people, and also too, you don't get a lot of Social Security income elderly people that all they have is that, which is also factors in with that under 15,000. And there's also a lot less people here that make over 200,000 than normal. There's a lot of people. Most of the people make between 75 and 150 grand here.
That's middle class.
It's like a huge chunk of it. It's a very middle class. Afford to piss some money away on your kids type bullshit.
Lots of soccer, lots of baseball games,
shit like that. Mom drives an SUV.
Oh yeah.
Well, so does dad. They both drive SUVs.
There's so many Mazdas and Kias in this town.
Oh, a lot of them. So many. Jesus Christ. Not a lot of Escalades. No. But a lot of.
You might get yourself a GMC Acadia.
There's going to be some Acadias.
Oh,
Jimmy,
boy.
Hold on a second. We think there's not going to be Acadias over here. You know how many Acadias are in this fucking town? They're known for it.
You're going to need it for four-wheel drive around here. It snows.
Definitely. So the jobs here are pretty average, actually. Not as many blue-collar jobs as you would think. A few more like finance-type jobs, white-collar type things. Everything else is pretty much on the money, though. Nothing too much. Cost of living, 100 is average, regular par. Here it is 100.1.
Oh.
So it is exactly...
Excessively par.
It's on. This place is so middle of the road. Geographically, it's just so middle of the road. It's like middle income, middle geography, middle. The jobs are all regular. The cost of living is totally average. This is any town USA.
Middle age.
It's middle. Middle age. Everything is just right in the middle. It's just very nebulous. This is a basic bitch ass town. That's what this town is. Right now, I'll say that.
So much Chardonnay.
It's just fucking.
This town
Chardonnay out of a box. You know what I mean?
This town is rosé as fuck.
Chardonnay out of a box. Put on Handmaid's Tale and leave me alone.
Somebody get me a caramel macchiato.
Oh, for the love of Christ. Please. God damn it.
Shit.
Basic bitch-ass town. The housing here, though, is slightly low. In the rest of the country, it's about $231,000 is the average home. Here, it is $193,000. So it's a little low on housing, but high on income. So that's a good area you want to get into when those two cross on a chart. A lot of houses in the $100,000 to $300,000 range. In there. You can get a house for $150,000. You can get a house for $250,000. That sort of thing. And if we've convinced you, damn it, you must live in the middle.
You basic bitch.
Right square where everything's within reach. If you're a basic ass Troy, Illinois bitch, we have for you the Troy, Illinois Real Estate Report. Your average 2-bedroom rental here is about $886. So that's pretty low. It's about $1,200 nationally. I found a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, it's a 1,012 square feet. It is on South Charcoal Street.
Oh.
So that sounds depressing and covered in soot.
At least it's not Meadow.
Yeah, it's a decent...
Because Meadow's the ghetto. We've learned that.
We've learned that. You don't want anything on Meadow. I avoided those homes. $135,000 for that, though.
Okay.
It's a little house. It's nice. You can stuff a couple of young kids in there. Found a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, hopefully alive. To raise them, not to store them.
What just happened?
To raise, not to store.
You just went real dark.
Yeah. You went dark. I was saying something nice.
You all right?
So we're gonna run out of music. We can't keep talking. I found a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,996 square foot home here. $235,000. So $100,000 more for 1,000 extra square feet. Then I found a 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 3,400 square foot home. Very nice brick, nice house. $355,000. So it's leveled up.
Yeah,
it's tiered.
Yeah,
tiered very nicely. Seems semi affordable as far as America goes.
Yeah,
things to do.
Oh boy,
here we go. I found the annual Harvest Festival.
Yeah,
for the love of Christ, fall is the focus for the annual Harvest Festival. Bring friends and family for a jam-packed day of games for everyone.
Oh,
everyone, Jimmy. Get an early start to the event and register for the fishing derby. That's a whole derby.
How does that work?
I don't know how a derby.
Fishing derby.
When I picture derby, I feel like I think of demolition derby.
Yeah, you're crashing your boats together.
Yeah. Hey, fuck you! Knock a trout out of somebody's hand. What are we doing?
Clear, just boredom.
He's got a smallmouth bass. Just pow! Just fucking run him upside and turn him over.
Blast him in the face with a carp.
Capsize him. He's got a carp, everybody.
Firing him across the bow.
He's got a muskie. Take him down.
This year I'm bringing a fish cannon.
Oh, my God. Jesus Christ.
I'm putting holes in your skater.
You know what's happening.
Fucking carp.
Oh, I'm going to knock that outboard right off the back of your shit. I have no idea what's happening right now.
A fucking derby.
Derby.
Why would they call it that?
I don't know. I'm frightened of a derby. Also, a Renaissance reenactment.
Oh,
so
boy.
The whole period, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. A car show and live music, which they're going to spare us the names of these bands that we've never heard of, which is good.
That's great. Stop advertising them.
Yeah.
They aren't getting extra fans.
It doesn't matter.
No.
Bounce houses for the kids, beer stands for the adults.
Oh, yeah.
Drink while they bounce. I love the Midwest for that. There's always a place to drink in the Midwest.
Yeah.
They're like, well, you grab a beer.
Yeah.
They got to be able to grab a beer. I mean, what are we doing here? I love the Midwest for that. And there's also another one. Here's another. This is not the
entirely different event.
Entirely different event. This is the 11th annual Halloween Pet Party and Street Festival.
Did you say Howl?
Halloween.
Oh boy.
Pet Party and Street Festival. Pet friendly, family friendly event is something for all ages. Walk your 4-legged friend up and down the street lined with all sorts of fun vendors. There's exciting games, kids pavilions. Take a break and listen to live music on 2 stages. Partners for Pets will have on-site adoptions. So basically you bring your kids there and they cry because you don't come home with a fucking dog. Right. The adoption fees are $50 for dogs over a year.
A 4-legged friend? What if my dog only has 3 legs?
Yeah, then what?
Are you telling me take him home?
Take your ugly mutt out of here? Is that what you're telling me?
Superman doesn't have...
got no love for my dog.
I can't dress my dog like Superman because he's missing a leg?
Yeah, you got no love for Stumpy? That's fine. That's cool. Come on, Stumpy. It's just me and you, buddy.
It's just as fast as your
Come
dog.
On. No, hurry up, Stumpy. Seriously. You're making their point for them, Stumpy. Hurry up. Why is that?
That's horrible.
That's terrible. Crime rate in this town, also terrible.
Yeah.
What we're interested in, crime rate, property crime is about half or so of the national average.
Real quick, does it feel like we affected them with their advertisement of their event in that they were like, just don't put the bands on
Yeah,
there,
I feel
because
like we
James
do.
and Jimmy are going to make fun
They're
of
just
us.
going to make fun of it.
They've heard of us.
There was a murder, I know, a while back. So eventually they're going to make fun of this.
They're going to throttle Keith Richard.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Because there's no S on it.
Yeah, don't put fucking...
Keith Richard and the Sunshine Band. He's like mashing old fucking bands together. With
and the Sunshine Band. I like that. The Rolling Stone Sunshine Band.
The Rolling Stone. One
word, yeah.
Right,
Rolling
right.
Stone Sunshine Band. I needed more of a differentiation there. So half the property crime, violent crime, murder, rape, robbery, and of course assault, the Mount Rushmore of crime. A little over, it's just about half also, a little higher than half the national average.
Good, safe town.
It's a safe little middle of the road family. Yeah. Bring your kids, you got a little extra income, buy a half decent house.
Dress up the pets.
Yeah, have go on vacation once a year. It seems like it's kind of an old timey town here, almost.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about the safest sponsor ever, Simply Safe. Absolutely, these people will keep you safe. It's amazing. You know that every 26 seconds a burglary takes place in the United States, according to the FBI. That means that by the time this podcast is over, dozens and dozens of homes will have been targeted, ransacked. God knows what happens here. So protect your home before it's too late with Simply Safe proactive security system. Simply Safe helps stop threats before they even have a chance to break in. Named Best Home Security System by U.S. News and World Report 5 years in a row. And by us for about the last 8 years as well. If you trust us, believe me, you want Simply Safe. So visit simplysafe.com/small to claim 50% off a new system with professional monitoring plan and your first month free. That's simplysafe.com/small. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Now back to the show.
This show, Small Town Murder, is brought to you by BetterHelp. Get yourself some therapy, everybody. Honestly, here. We often hear about, red flags that you should avoid. Hey, that's a lot of a thing. It's become a real phrase now, real cliche. But why don't you focus also, you look at like green flags in friends and partners. Look for good things as well.
Right.
And maybe you're not sure what that looks like, though. Therapy can help you figure that out. What are positive things? What are the green flags? And then you can practice them in your relationship. It's absolutely a fact. And so, honestly, we absolutely are huge advocates for this. It really, really helps. BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy affordable. It's convenient. They serve over 5 million people worldwide. You can access a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists, wide ranges of specialties there. Here's the coolest part. You're not getting along with your therapist, you're just not feeling it, you can switch at any time, no extra charge.
Wow.
The thing is, they want you to get help. That's it. And you can do it with BetterHelp. Discover your relationship green flags with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/smalltownmurder today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Murder, though, happened in this town, of course, and we are going to talk about it.
All right.
Oh, it's time.
Okay.
Let's do this. Let's talk about a gentleman.
Yeah.
We'll use that term loosely.
Okay.
But right now, we don't know anything about him.
It's a guy.
It's a guy.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this guy.
There's
all
a
right?
man.
A man.
There's a fella.
He definitely, he's got a penis.
Okay.
So there's that.
Genitalia of a male.
Let's do that. Lloyd Wayne Hampton. Certainly a manly name.
Yeah.
Very manly. There's 2 L's in the front of that name. That's pretty.
And Wayne.
And Wayne is a strong name.
Yeah.
Lloyd Wayne Hampton here. He's born November 13th, 1953 here. Now, this guy, we'll talk a little bit about him, but he runs into some trouble in February of 1990. February 9th, 1990, he is at a truck stop in Troy, Illinois, our town here, and he is stopped by the police. And it turns out that he is driving a car that's not his.
Oh.
And so they're like, where'd you get the car? They don't like how he's acting. He's acting a little suspicious.
Yeah.
They look him up, and, it's one of these guys. We're going to talk to this guy a little bit.
Okay.
And that sort of thing. Now, he's driving a 1978 Pontiac car. So this is in 1990.
Yeah.
All I can find is that it's a Pontiac. Either way, there was not a Pontiac made in 1978 that wasn't a giant pile of shit. So that I'll tell you for a fact.
There wasn't a car made in 1978
huge pile
that
of shit.
wasn't a giant piece of shit.
Especially a Pontiac.
Yeah.
I picture it immediately brown.
Yeah.
Do you picture a brown?
I pictured like metallic
long,
rust.
Yeah. Long and brown with those old like 70s cop car hubcaps on it. Just a middle hub, nothing else. Dark wheel.
Not white interior, but like a yellowish white. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's all vinyl, and it has
Vinyl
that
off-white.
metal piece in the center of the back of the seat that gets fucking red hot during the summer and burns your shoulder blades.
Absolutely. And an avocado green roof and carpet package. Headliner and carpet package. And
It's a
floor
great
mat
car.
package.
Yeah.
It's quite the ride.
Tits.
It's a tits ride in 1990. That's
In 90, he's driving this.
Yeah, well, it's also stolen. So
Yeah,
I mean,
okay.
his standards of travel are really not that high. I don't think he's minding what he has no car.
No.
So maybe he wrote that review earlier.
Got to steal Pontiacs in this piece of shit town.
And there's not even a good one to steal. It's like a 78. Jesus Christ, you get like a 2005 Grand Am or something. It's a piece of shit, but it's not.
I can't think of a single vehicle that where people are like, you heard of that 78 of that model? Nope.
Never.
Nobody likes 78.
Except they're like, you hear the 78 Corvette's the worst one they ever made. It's the only Corvette that's slow. That's the only time you ever hear
The exploding Corvette is the 78.
It's like a big piece of shit with, just a horrible thing. It's got no power. It's like 120 horsepower.
They tried something new. They're trying to go after fuel efficiency.
Fuel efficient muscle car. That's what they want. So good job, America. That was a way to produce. Wonder why the Japanese took over the market for the next 10 years.
Real good era there.
Yeah, nice job. What we'll make is a giant car rather than making it like, smaller and fuel efficient. It'll be giant and just be shitty.
Right.
It'll be not that fuel efficient, but still super shitty. So
we'll
no one will
have to
want
put a motor in there that has so much horsepower you won't pass a gas station.
That's what it is.
That's why this town has so many gas stations. They got a lot of 78s.
That's 78s. Well, they have problems by now.
Yeah.
Bad carburetors and shit. Just spraying fuel out the back as they go.
What a shit era for vehicles.
Yeah. So they look it up. They find out this car belongs to a man named Roy Pendleton. His nickname is Jasper. Everyone calls him Jasper. Jasper Pendleton.
I could see that leap. From
Jasper.
Roy to Jasper? Yeah.
Sure. Why not?
Sounds logical.
Jasper.
Yeah.
He's Jasper. Just good old Jasper. Everybody likes Jasper. Jasper is a 69-year-old man.
Yeah.
He's a retired janitor.
Oh.
So, a retired janitor with a dead wife.
Oh.
So, he's a lonely old man.
Tough life.
Yeah, kind of hangs out, and everyone calls him Jasper, and he's fine with it.
And he's missing a Pontiac.
And he drives a 78 Pontiac.
Right.
So we know his life, just in a snapshot, is not great.
No.
It's not wonderful.
No.
I feel like I see a lot of flickering TV, a lot of antenna adjusting, and Dinty-Moore eating. That's what I see out of a can.
And pull-top beers.
Yeah. Oh, tons of pull-top beers.
So many.
I see the Dinty-Moore. He doesn't even bother heating it up anymore.
No.
He just eats it right out of the can.
What's the difference?
It's just
cool off.
It's going to be gross anyway. So either way, it's going to make me shit my brains out.
I've noticed the flavor doesn't change as you warm it.
And the level of diarrhea is the same. So really no point in warming this shit.
Sometimes I mistakenly grab the can of cat food and I don't notice till I'm halfway done.
and then I just shrug and continue. So I'm like, whatever. Same shit.
It's less chunky this week. Oh, that is the 9 Lives.
Oh, wow. Oh, boy. Should have bought the Cal can. No, there's an officer here. Officer Reckline is his name here. This officer participates in the arrest. This is February 9th, 1990. Now, he is not only in possession of this automobile, he has several other items that don't seem to belong to him as well.
Oh.
Like, he's
gone robbing.
He's gone. It just looks like this is all very shady. You have a car that's not yours, and you have a bunch of stuff that doesn't look like it's yours. It's like, it's just a weird.
There's a tennis racket.
You're suspicious.
Yeah.
He's got like a microwave in the front seat.
Yeah.
In 1990s, it's a big microwave.
Right.
Takes up the whole front seat. You got to strap it in with the seatbelt and everything. It's huge.
Grocery bag full of Dinty-Moore.
That's all it is. So, I mean, when you see a grocery bag full of Dinty Moore and it's on a man who is only, 37 years old at this point.
We got questions.
You got to think, I don't trust this at all. He's not eating all that Dinty Moore. No. I know that for a fact.
Are you taking that to the party?
That
was what you brought?
Are you like a Wheels on Meals or Meals on Wheels kind of guy?
Wheels on Meals.
Wheels on Meals, everybody.
It's the same thing.
Same shit. A little messier. So they arrest him.
Yeah.
Let's bring you in. We've suspicion of stolen car and stolen shit and just kind of being a suspicious asshole that we don't trust here. You seem like an untrustworthy asshole. You're not from around here either. He's got, he is originally from Texas, as we'll talk about. He's just come from California. So they're like, who are you? What is all this shit? You have a local person's car. You're not from here. Why do you have a microwave? You're coming in for some questions.
Got a lot of questions.
We got a lot of questions. So, he's got all sorts of shit. So they arrest him. And, so they say, what's your story, Lloyd?
Yeah.
Well, what's happening here? So he says, I'll tell you what my fucking story is. Here it is. So, before they have a chance to get the story out of him, they go to notify Jasper Pendleton that we found your car. Hey,
we found your car that you didn't tell us was missing.
Is your car missing? Yeah, they just figure that they're going to contact this man and say, because his car is now impounded because they've arrested this man. So they're going to say, hey, your car is in our custody. And then see if he goes, well, good, the fuck, I didn't even know my car was stolen. Because that's what they think maybe is Jasper lives in Troy. Mm-hmm. So they're like, he lives 5 minutes from here. He might not even know it's fucking stolen yet. So we'll talk to him about it. So they do that and they go, he lives in a motel. Since his wife died, he's moved into a motel room.
No.
The picture gets a little clearer, doesn't it?
Or darker.
How much more Dinty Moore did you just put in his cabinet? Now he's just he buys it by the pallet now.
That's all it is.
That's all he eats.
There's nothing else.
He buys it by the pallet and he just takes it and he's got one of those can openers and just electronic ones. But it's the electric one's like on the wall, so you just pulled it up to it.
It's bolted to the bottom of
the magnet holds it. Yeah. And then he just walks away and scoops out the day. He's halfway done with the can before he hits the couch, Jimmy. It's disgusting. He's got a recliner that he's had since 1978.
Oh, for sure.
It came with the Pontiac.
It came with the purchase.
It was like a rebate deal.
It was a Memorial Day sale.
That's it. You got a coupon for a recliner from across the street there. Life is sad for Jasper, is what I'm getting at.
It's not a lazy boy. It's Razy Boy.
It's a Razy. Yeah.
It's Razy.
Well, back then they were just making. It was made in China, and they were just like, see, because they don't know the ours, and they see, we're funny, right? Right? It's 1978.
Jesus
That's a funny
Christ,
joke.
James.
It's not a joke now. It's a joke in 1978. Like, get it? You get it? And then the guy made his eyes real slimmy. See? Them people, you know what I'm talking about. Huh?
Good Lord.
He's like,
you're never getting Saturday Night Live.
I'll take the Pontiac. It's not me saying this. This is a redneck in 1978 that made a knockoff.
Unbelievable.
Made a knockoff recliner. Why did I do this? And by the way, I would never work for Saturday Night Live. Not for that purpose. No. Just that's a terrible schedule. For what? To produce a pile of shit?
To work your balls off for $12,000 a week?
That show sucks dick. I don't give a shit how much. It's a shit show. Yeah. I'm not going to give anybody 90 hours a week to produce a pile of shit, because that's what that is. A giant pile of shit. So just in case either of us are ever up for SNL, Lauren Michaels, hear this part of the podcast where I say, go fuck yourself because your show sucks because you're 100 years old.
Right.
How the fuck can you be in touch with anything anymore? The guy was a finger on the pulse for so long. He was he's a god in terms of that and that avenue of television production. Amazing. Comedy was great. Yeah. It's a pile of shit now. It's bad. It's a mess.
There's only so many Steve Martins. There's only so many Chevy Chases.
There's only so many everything.
People that you can put on TV that are funny. And you're going to lose.
It's not even the show's fault, I think, and this is way off the subject of Jasper Pendleton's motel room. But I think
he's watching the best of Saturday Night Live right now.
I think sketch comedy is just kind of a dead. Yeah. It's a dead medium for the moment. Yeah. I mean, it could come back because it's ebbed and flowed too. But it
also goes based on
stand-up does the same thing.
It's topical.
It's topical, yeah.
And it's nothing's funny right now.
Well, plus, if you want your whole cast to be 24 years old, you're going to get a bunch of people who have very little experience being performers, so they're not as good. Whereas those old guys, they were all 30. Yeah. I mean, not the Adam Sandler and that crew, and it took them a few years to be funny. Right. But Bill Murray wasn't 21 years old. Dan Aykroyd wasn't 21 years old. Chevy Chase wasn't 21 years old. They were fucking in their late 20s, 30. They had a lot of...
Farley was even later. He was like 28.
They had a lot of performing experience. I mean, that 90s crew got experience on the show because they let them just suck for a couple years and get into their own. Right. Whereas now they're just, I don't even know. They come and go.
Just so fast.
And there's like one or two guys that hang around for like 14 years where you're like, Jesus, man.
This guy's still doing this?
You know, he goes home and just cries. Just cries his eyes out.
And that's all he has is just that.
That's it.
He doesn't have anything else.
That's his gig. And he gets some gigs off of that because he can sell B market stand-up clubs based on the credit. It's sad.
Sounds great.
Okay, back to Jasper Pendleton.
Staying in hotels that Jasper stays in.
Yeah, that's a little comedy sidetrack, comedy business sidetrack from us. So anyway, the crime scene investigator named Dee Heil, a lot of Heils in here, comes to the hotel room. She comes in and observes that old Jasper is no longer with us.
Oh, no.
He is dead at the scene. And not only is he dead, it's probably not natural causes based on the way they find him. Because it's an older guy. Obviously, he's eating Dinty Moore every meal.
Not from the Dinty Moore.
It could have been anything. He could have just had a heart attack, broken heart. His wife's dead.
Poor bastard.
He was bound with ropes, tape, and a nylon dog leash.
Oh my God, the guy's got it rough enough.
So that's what I mean. If you walk in, let's say you're going to do this to this man. You walk in and you see the Dinty Moore, and you see the TV with the flicker and the rabbit ears, and you just go and you see the 1978 Razy Boy, and you just go, I'm never mind. You know what, sir? No thank you. And you give him $5 and you leave. That's how it works. You do something nice for him.
So bad.
As a matter of fact, that's not the worst of it though. His throat was slashed. And a large chef knife was protruding from his neck.
Oh, my God.
So the knife, they just got left stuck in the neck all the way through his neck.
They went a bit far.
Seems a bit personal
you
here.
Didn't have to do that.
Yeah, there's a throat slash and then a stab too. Just to seem like almost like a place to put the knife.
Yeah, and leave this here,
like they do in a butcher block kind of thing. Like they'll put it there. That's what basically it was. Like slashed. All right, stick it there for now. It's very weird. Also, further examination. Jasper Pendleton, his forehead has 3 lacerations on it, and they're what appeared to be burns. On him as well, on his face, and what they thought to be cigarette ashes on his eyelids.
God, Jesus.
Ashes of cigarettes on his eyelids. Also, they found around him, because he's on the bed, and they found basically in a perimeter around his head a bunch of stab holes in the bed.
What?
Like if someone traced around his head,
like scaring him
with stab holes. Either exactly, like that sort of thing. So it's and
then the poof, you're an ashtray thing.
Then an ashtray, and then a slash, and I'll leave this here for later. Because you never know when you're going to need a knife later on. So now you know where it is anyway. Otherwise, you could have lost it. This is a lot. It's a lot for a 69-year-old retired janitor widow who eats a lot of Dinty Moore and watches Matlock every night. It's a lot.
His Razy Boy.
It's a fuck from his Razy Boy. It's a lot. Pendleton actually had something at a trip planned. He was about to go on a trip. He was about to go to Las Vegas.
Why?
To visit his dying brother.
Oh, my word.
It just gets sadder and sadder with it. He's the saddest man that's ever lived, this Pendleton, and now he's not alive anymore.
He's going to Vegas.
I said he's going
to Vegas.
Yeah,
I sure am.
69-year-old widow.
Where are you going to stay?
He's going to party
with my dying brother.
Oh, I'll be sleeping in a chair in the hospital room of my dying brother. As a matter of fact. So not like Circus, or you're not going to go to the Luxor. It's a big pyramid, It's pretty neat looking. Nope, just dying brother.
The MGM has those lions that growl at the beginning of the movies.
It's everything about him is like he's single because his wife died. Oh, you know
he's
what I
going
mean?
to Vegas.
He lives in a hotel, a motel in Troy, Illinois. Actually. Eats Dinty Moore every night.
The only thing he's
got his own car.
It's a Pontiac.
It's a 78 Pontiac. He's going to Vegas to visit his dying brother.
In a 78 Pontiac.
Hopefully I'll make it.
Oh, God, Jesus.
This is just...
I feel so bad for
I'm almost
Roy.
glad he's dead for his
relief
for his own good.
Jesus.
And I don't mean to be disrespectful to Jasper here, but it's almost like you're like, Jesus Christ, this guy had one fucking thing after another on top of him. Obviously, I would rather he
I'm sure he would too.
Found some happiness, lived to 92, found some other old lady they could, watch Matlock together.
And then they go to Vegas and fuck all night.
Fuck all night. He would have lived to Viagra at this point. He would have been rock hard cock. She's heating up the Dinty more now, so it's a whole other thing. She gave him a slice of bread. He's like, I dip a slice of bread and it's not that fucking bad. I'm going to be honest with you now. It's all right. It's better. She enhanced my life.
Yeah.
Instead, he's dead. So
she threw some salt in it. Now there's taste.
Oh my goodness. Look at that. I think salt is the one thing you don't need extra with in Dinty Moore, probably.
Have you had
I've eaten it. Yeah.
It is just the most bland shit on earth.
If you look at it, I think it's like 3 times your daily sodium. I'm not even kidding. It's like 180% or 300% of your sodium.
But it's all locked in those meat cubes.
Oh, meat cubes and you can't.
Giant chunks of potato. The potato pieces are bigger than the meat.
Yeah, and the potato's still good though. You can't go wrong with a potato hunk, even if it's in a can with salted meat. It's still pretty good. That's the weird part. You're like, this potato's not bad. I'll be honest with you.
Carrots,
a lot of carrots.
The carrot to potato to beef ratio is way out of whack.
There's not a lot of beef. Let's be honest here.
The majority of the beef is in that puree brown shit that they just pour over.
You're buying a can of stew for $1.39. What do you want for meat exactly? Oh, it's got a whole T-bone in there. It's a can of stew. Oh, wow.
Really savor those 2 pieces of meat.
Is this prime? Is this a Wagyu Dinty Moore? No, it's a piece of shit. We're not even sure it came from a cow.
Actually, just be...
It's meat.
Just be thankful it's not a piece of shit, because it might actually be.
Yeah, all we'll guarantee is it is meat.
We will tell you that it came from a cow. We don't know.
You don't know where.
Is it meat or is it shit?
It's an animal. It's exciting, right? You never know. Maybe that's how they should market it. Exciting. You never know where it came.
Came from a cow.
Came from an animal. You don't know which one. Could be anything. Oh, man. So
unreal.
Yeah, this is brutal. So tied up, ropes, dog leash, taped his mouth shut, burned eyelids, ashes on the eyelids, stabbed in the sliced in the forehead, neck sliced, protruding knife. That's the whole thing here. He also, as they found later on, took Jasper's suitcase, microwave.
Take the microwave.
He took his microwave, his Dinty Moore maker. Took a suitcase, his microwave, because the suitcase was packed for Vegas. So he just took that because
what's in here?
Old man, dying brother visiting clothes. Right. That's what's in there. What are you going to do with that?
This is going to be a fun little opening.
Oh boy!
Maybe I'll put a YouTube video up of me unboxing.
An unboxing. Oh, another plaid shirt. Look at that. Oh, look at that. More khakis.
More snap shirts.
Oh wow, snap shirts. This is great. One of those fisherman hats with the flaps on the side. Good deal.
And a trophy from the fishing derby.
Hey, he won the fishing derby. It's a bad motherfucker, man. So he also had a $500 check that he forced Jasper to make out to him. He's a real bright guy, this guy. Write me a check while I rob and kill you. $500 check he had in his possession, Lloyd Wayne Hampton, that Hampton had drove to a bar. And after this, with the check and the microwave and the suitcase and the '78 Pontiac, where he tried to cash the check, and they wouldn't cash the check, but they made some deal with him. He's going to cash it somewhere else, and he buys the house a round of drinks.
Really?
So, drinks on me. This is his murder celebration. He goes to a bar and says, "On me, everybody!" Like he just had a kid.
It's like he thinks
8 pounds 4 ounces on me, people. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
$500 is going to last him forever.
That's how he's thinking.
He's buying people drinks. You only got $500, man.
That's the thing. Yeah, you got $500, and what are you going to sell a microwave for?
Good Lord!
You pawn that thing for $20? It's a fucking giant 1990. I guarantee it wasn't a top of the line model. He probably got
it from
a
motel.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Or Roy got it at Goodwill or something. Jasper there. So now police said said once they asked him about it, he was like, "Oh yeah, I killed the fuck out of that guy."
What?
Lloyd Wade Hampton. He's like, "Oh yeah, I killed him good.
Why did he say that?
Took all that shit. Took that shit, killed him, fucking sliced him, cut him, stabbed him."
This is the shortest show ever, James.
Fuck that guy. Oh no, there's more. So, this is our first shows used to be this long.
Yeah.
So, police were taken aback by how matter of fact he was about everything. There wasn't even a hemming and hawing.
Yeah.
There wasn't he didn't put that act on like he was like, I just, I don't know what happened. He didn't do any of that. He's like, oh, that guy, he's fucking dead. Yeah. Oh, I killed him up.
Stabbed like crazy.
Yeah, I did it. It was overkill, really. I didn't have to do all the killing I did, and I took his shit. I forced him to make a check out to me. That was kind of, fucking bar wouldn't cash it. Can you believe that shit? Like, that's the conversation he was having where the cops are like, is he, like, it was almost like, is he kidding?
Is this fucking real?
Is this for real? Like, what's going on? The police said about him, the main investigator said, quote, he was cool as a cucumber, no remorse. Mm-hmm. So, don't give a fuck.
Wow.
He said he murdered Roy because he needed to steal shit from him and he didn't want to get caught. I just wanted to take shit and did not get caught. That's why I killed him. Duh.
Oh, sweet Jesus, how many more?
Good Lord. He said, what the fuck? He said,
this is not number one.
Quote, my problem is, always has been, I don't give a damn. That was his quote.
We would say
to the cops. Yeah. He just doesn't give a shit. He's like, I just killed that fucking guy. I made him write me a check. What am I supposed to do? Leave him there?
Right.
He knows who I am now. I got to kill him, obviously. Dummy. So this guy is not a nice guy.
No.
We'll just say. Want to find out a little more about Lloyd Wayne Hampton? Because he seems like just a real interesting cat.
Yeah.
And you're very prescient too on your thing. Now, he is a 7th grade dropout.
Yeah.
Which is 12.
Yeah.
My son's in the 7th grade, and he's nowhere near ready for life at this point.
To go ahead and get a job and just figure it out?
I've had about enough of that. All that school, and I think I learned all about I need to know.
Lawn mowing on Sunday at my own house?
No, I don't think so. No, he can't clean his fucking clothes up off the floor and put them in a hamper. Like that's a task beyond him.
Right.
So there's no way he's ready for the world in any way, shape, or form.
Unreal.
If he says, "Can you make me this food?" and you go, "No, you make it yourself," he'll go, "Never mind," and he'll just go sit down. He would starve to death in a week. A week, he would starve to death. Literally, he'd be dead. I keeled over.
My son doesn't even.
I ran out of goldfish, Dad.
There's no more pizza pockets.
No more of those. You'd have to microwave those at least. So never mind. So 7th grade dropout.
Yeah.
Bad sign right away. That is 12. Mm-hmm. 13 tops if you
at most,
were held back in kindergarten or something. He spent, we'll put it this way, most of his life in prison. Mm-hmm. From the age of 20, 1973, that's when he turned 20, till 1990, when this happens, he is only out of prison for 4 years in that entire time.
Combined.
And that's sprinkled over 6 months here, a few months here. 4 years in 17 years he's been out of prison.
Unbelievable.
So it's from 20 to 37. So he's a mess.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, and it's a lot of different things. It's robberies, it's stealing, it's assaults, it's just reckless, crazy behavior.
He's the poster child for 3 strikes and you're out.
He's the poster child for take this guy behind the goddamn building and just fucking, beat him over the head with a brick and put him in a shallow hole because he's just useless.
Yeah.
He really is. This is one of those people where it's like you'd like to make rules in society that you would think that would govern reasonable people for reasonable actions.
And keep them on the path.
Some people, there's just no, it's like an auxiliary rule. Like, okay, we have a special asshole, and this is a special asshole who doesn't even give a shit about it. He's not even doesn't even have the wherewithal to pretend to have remorse. He's just like, yep, killed him.
Did it.
Why? Because I fucking felt like it. That's why. Needed to steal shit.
Right.
What would you do, dummy?
How do you get $500?
That's what I'm saying. When you have that, it's like, well, there's no, and the guy's 37. He's not 19.
Right.
Where it's maybe like there's a, maybe he can be rehabilitated. Maybe his child child, whatever. Maybe after 20 years of whatever the shit, I don't know, kind of counseling, maybe he can come out and not be a monster. He's 37.
Right.
You are a fully formed human being that is a goddamn monster.
Yeah.
Period. He says he had a troubled childhood. His mother left when he was very little, which is always bad when mother leaves. This isn't a sexist thing, but kids tend to, nature-wise, mother's important.
Well, the mom generally has the bigger heart. Sometimes dad's a nicer guy, but it's generally the woman teaches you kindness and tenderness.
There's a certain
and how to,
it's important for a boy. Is what I'm saying, to have that. Yeah,
you need that heart. Otherwise, you're just a piece of shit.
You ever see that Simpsons episode where Marge and Lisa go away to like clean off, birds that got in an oil spill or something, and they leave Homer and Bart and Maggie behind.
Yeah,
Maggie's gone, and the house is 3 feet deep in garbage in like 48 hours. That's the reality of if you leave a man and a boy together. That's what's going to have 3 feet of garbage, and we don't know where. We have no idea where the baby is. Gone. That's what happens. I mean, it's obviously a cartoon, but it's also true. Because,
and now Bart calls everybody cocksucker.
And that's it. He just calls everybody cocksucker, and he's watching a lot of porn, and he's 10, and it's weird. Doesn't even know why he's watching it yet, but he's watching it. So, also, his mother left, probably because his father was...
It's just not even tugging, just watching.
No, just watching, not even understanding why. Just like, this is interesting. Not even.
It really seems to like her.
There's no utility for it at all. Like there's no use for it. It's like if you had a car or a plane at 10, the same thing. It's like, wow, there's a lot of gauges and shit in here. I don't know.
Staring at it and like putting his fingers up, looking at the screen.
I don't know why if I hit this button that happens. I'm not sure of that yet, but it seems to.
Interesting.
It's weird. So he apparently there's a reason why his mother left, probably, and that's because his father's a horribly abusive monster.
Yeah.
So when you hear that he was beaten severely from a young age as a child, you go, I kind of know probably why the mother left. It seems like 'cause if he's beating the shit out of his kid like this severely, he's probably beat up the mother of the kid as well.
Right.
And she wasn't taking it, and he was probably saying, you ain't gonna take my fucking kid away. This is in Texas, by the way. That's why I'm putting this accent.
Hang on to
and she was like, you know what? Fuck both of you. This is a genetic cesspool.
Right.
I'm out.
If
I'm
he's
away
like
from it
you,
now.
I'm leaving.
Peace. Yeah, out. So I don't think I blame the mother at this point. So he's beaten by his father. He started to run away from home, and this is when you know there's a problem. Started to run away from home at age 10. Running away outside of like a kid that walks down the block and like sits there because he's mad at their parents for not having goldfish.
Yeah.
You know, but like actual running away and trying to like escape.
Trying to figure it out.
Is 98% of the time, they always say, child psychologists with kids, is because of abuse.
Sure.
That's why they run away.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they're not going anywhere because they don't know how to take care of themselves.
And they don't need to.
And that's the only time when they're like, I have no other choice. Like it would be better to live under a tree with whatever I can fit in my backpack than to fucking be here. And, they're afraid for themselves. So he started running away at 10. So that tells you a lot right there about where, obviously, him and his upbringing.
Sure.
Soon it goes right to crime. I mean, when you're out on the streets and you're a kid, the only way to survive, you can't get a job when you're 11.
You don't have a wallet.
You can't go to the.
If you had a job,
you don't even know what your social security is. Social security number is when you're 11.
You don't know. You don't know where your birth certificate is. You're
Sign this. I don't have a signature yet. I just write it long. I guess I don't know.
Let's do what I do at school. I don't know. Is that it?
Johnny, at the top. Lloyd, misspelled with one L.
Where's your ID? I don't own a wallet.
I don't have a wallet. And if you do have a wallet, it's Velcro.
Yeah.
So it's not. It's not working. So you can't. The only way to survive on the streets as a preteen is crime.
Steal.
You can't do anything else. I mean, it's like I look at throughout history. Jesus, it's street urchins, kids. They have to. What else are they going to do?
Get it, Aladdin.
That's right. And so also when you're 10 and 11 and 12, the other thing about it is you're going to have to do crime, and also you're not very good at it yet because you're 10 and 11 and 12. So your criminal sophistication is not much at that point. So that's where he's at. And he's
usually snatch and run. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And who did it? Well, that kid. How many other kid dirty-faced kids with a purse in their hand are there on the block, you're in trouble.
Right.
So it's one of those. So this progresses to him ending up in juvenile homes and group homes and detention centers. Mm-hmm. And if you know anything about juvenile homes and group homes and detention centers, oh boy,
a little bit.
Staff, other kids, it's kiddie training prison for a lot of these kids. Not all of them, I'm sure, but
some have a decent time.
A lot of the time, that's what it is.
It's never a great time.
It's like on The Wire, Jimmy, when Randy ends up there after he accidentally sort of snitches on Marlowe's crew, and the cops, Carver said, I'll put 24-hour watch on your house, but it's one call, the car drives away, the cop car drives away, 2 seconds later they're there throwing fucking firebombs through the window.
Oh my God.
Next thing you know, Randy's foster mother's fucked, she's up burning to shit. Randy has to go back in foster care. Carver can't take care of him. They won't let him because he has to go through the adoption process. So next thing you know, he's getting the shit beat out of him by a bunch of boys older than him who have written snitch bitch on his bed.
Oh no.
That's what happens. That's a group home, everybody. That's what happens.
That's every one of them.
Watch The Wire.
Yeah. Yes. Snitch bitch.
Snitch bitch. So that's what ended up happening here. So a lot of that. He finally ran away for good at 15. And that was when he was like, that's when he was done, never looked back. He got jobs in oil fields.
God.
Yeah. Teenage oil field worker, construction, helper, anywhere he could pick up work as a teenager, he did. And he even worked as a country music singer a little bit in some he did some country music bar gigs.
Oh, he knows the rough
as well.
Yeah.
So this is a guy who should be singing country music.
I want to hear the sad song he sings.
There's no frosty tips on him or any of that shit. This dude will sing about my mama left me and my dad beat me into juvenile hall.
Right.
That's a fucking song I want to hear about. If he stops now, concentrates on the music and goes forward, he could be great and famous and some sort of,
that's some relatable music.
Some dark country star at this point in time.
Absolutely. And spitting blood out in between verses.
Angry looking, chewing tobacco while he's singing. I got tobacco in my lip while I'm singing. See? I'm tough.
I can hit better notes if I spit this shit out. But then,
you know what? You know what, though?
I like it.
It just ain't, the look ain't the same. That's what I mean. I like to have that bulge.
I like also, because there's so much spit in my mouth, when I do S's, I shoot shit on the front row.
I do like that. I like to,
it's like a Shamu splash zone. It's my concert's a whole encompassing.
Spread it out.
It's a thing. It's a fucking thing.
Well, what it is, it's a wonder for all the senses. Now that's the problem. So most people they do. I like to give you the smell of juice and a feel.
And I stink. See, I just got out. I'm a roughneck. I just got out the oil field today. So I smell.
Did I mention I'm not a very good singer? 'Cause that's the other thing. I ain't very good at this. I'm more of a look than anything else, but
it's more eye appealing than ear.
I'll tell you some sad stories while wearing this outfit and standing on this stage. See,
and smelling like soap.
And I smell like things too.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you about Noom. Has Noom helped you? I believe it has.
Oh, it's got an app. You can do tracking. It's terrific.
It does. And Noom builds personal plans that can meet individual needs. That's the thing. Takes into account any dietary restrictions, medical issues, other personal needs. That helps build a plan that works for you. And yes, so I know that you've had your own personalized program here that you've been working on. And
it's weight loss This is weight loss results that last. They stick around because you get yourself into a lifestyle change. That's what matters.
That's mainly it. You can't just say, I'm going to cut that out for a month and then go back. That's not what it is. So I'm glad it's helping you. That's great. And it really does. I like the psychology and biology-based approach here. Yeah. Noom Weight uses psychology. That's why they say losing weight starts with your brain, but it also takes into account your unique biological factors, Jimmy. All of your multitude flora and fauna that goes on inside of you there. Sure. Yeah. Stay focused on what's important to you with Noom's psychology and biology-based approach. Sign up for your trial today at Noom.com, Noom.com here, based on 3.5-year study of actively engaged Noom users with minimum starting BMI of 25. Individual results may vary. Visit our website for more information. Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about a healthy, delicious item, Hero Bread. And we're both trying to get healthier this new year. Jimmy had a eye-opening doctor's appointment and things like that. So we're trying to get healthier, and I'm telling you right now, this hero bread is a good
terrific.
step in this direction. It's delicious, and it is really good for you, and it's really excellent. They have the sliced bread is good, the bagels, the tortillas. I know you've been
they're terrific.
ranting about the tortillas. They're so good. With hero bread, you can focus on your health goals and still indulge in the soft, fluffy experience you love, but guilt-free. I really love the little Hawaiian rolls, too.
Yeah.
They're so good. They're so good. The Hawaiian rolls, they're legit. They're fluffy. They're exactly how you want them to be. You'd never know it's low-carb and high-fiber bread from the texture. You get the soft, fluffy experience you know and love with your savory breakfast sandwich, late-night grilled cheese, Taco Tuesday. Do it. No compromises, just flavor, ultra-low net carbs, 0 grams of sugar, high in fiber. It's fantastic. Hero Bread is offering 10% off your order. Go to hero.co and use the code SmallTownMurder at checkout. That's SmallTownMurder at HERO.co.
And now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you all sorts of good stuff about Chime. That's what I'm talking about. There's so many extra fees you have to pay in life. Everything. You go to the airline, there's an extra ticket on that. There's extra fee on every fees and fees, hotels, fees, all this type of stuff. We're trying to make progress, and the next thing you know, here comes another fee coming at you, and it's more money than you expected, and your whole math is thrown off, and it's awful. Learn more at chime.com/smalltownmurder. Chime is great with that stuff. I mean, you can't beat if your things are a little tight, especially around the holidays or after the holidays. Yeah. You need that money a couple days early, or you go grocery shopping. You got a car payment due. There's so many things that don't cross over exactly how you want them to cross over. Make progress toward a better financial future with Chime. Open your account in 2 minutes at chime.com/smalltownmurder. That's chime.com/smalltownmurder. Feels like progress. Banking services and debit cards provided by Bancorp Bank N.A. or Stride Bank N.A., members FDIC. Spot me eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Boosts are available to eligible Chime members enrolled in Spot Me and are subject to monthly limits. Timing depends on submission of payment file. Fees apply at out-of-network ATMs.
And now back to the show.
Now, he has, over the years, he ends up with convictions for robbery, assault with deadly weapons, all this type of shit. I mean, all the way up until, like I said, from 73 to 90, he's out for a total of 4 years here and there. 1987 in Bakersfield, California is when things really kind of come to a head for him. He's out in California. He ends up encountering a woman named Dana Schaefermeyer. And this poor woman, Dana Schaefermeyer, ends up with, there's an argument. He's with her in her car somehow. It's 1987. There's an argument in her car, and he ends up hitting her multiple times and forcing her to go into her house with him, drags her into her own home. Okay. Once they're inside, he ordered her to Schaefermeyer to undress and put a leather strap around her neck.
Oh, boy.
Okay, so this is getting fucking weird.
Yeah.
Then he waved a butcher knife around in her face, and threatening to kill her with it, obviously. Basically would do, and we'll talk about what he did here, various acts of psychological and not mild, but physical torture that lasted from 1 a.m. to about 8:30 a.m.
Oh, Jesus.
So basically, he just kept this woman all night long just to fuck with her and torture her and torment her.
Oh,
this is the kind of dude we're dealing with. This is 3 years before Jasper. So this is a mess here. He placed the tip of the knife inside of her.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. Also would plunge the knife into the mattress all around her head, making a semicircle around her head.
Horrifying her.
Very
much like she did with Jasper.
Yeah, and would also put it close to her face and act like he was going to stab her and threaten to stab her, and then would, plunge it into the mattress next to her head.
Oh, God.
This is what he was doing for 7 hours.
7 hours
Seven
of
and
that
a half
shit.
hours of tormenting this poor woman.
See if she doesn't shake the rest of her life.
Yeah, well, he is. He doesn't kill her. He leaves her, ends up leaving her, and as a result, he is convicted of assault with a deadly weapon, and obviously, it has a plea deal for that. They take off the torture things and shit like that.
California is liberal.
Well, in 19,
Jesus.
So he is sentenced to, but shit, plea deals are everywhere.
Yeah.
Anywhere with a clogged up court system has plea deals. That's why
that fucking thing.
they always say in the this bothers me in the rural areas. They always say like, well, here we know how to do justice. There's nobody fucking there.
Right.
Your courts aren't clogged up. When you have a big case, you can all concentrate on it. And there's time, and they say, well, this is a big one. Let's all concentrate on it. If people getting murdered in cities just fucking happens.
Yeah.
They're piled up. There's a shit
True.
just based on people living in proximity to each other. More people, more numbers, more murders. They don't have fucking time unless there was 8,000 prosecutors to prosecute all this shit. You take pleas when you can.
Right. That time in California, there was serial killers fucking everywhere.
That's what I mean. There's 87. And there's a lot of shit going on.
Bodies laying on hillsides.
Not only that, the fucking gang shit was out of control. There was bodies everywhere. There was, it was crazy there. It's a lot of shit going on.
Not some dude that comes funny.
Yeah, that's the thing. And not to mention in the 80s, all types of budgets were slashed for everything. So we're talking about less money, more murders, and,
and hindsight, too, because back then, you in 87, you look at this case and you go, Jesus, this guy's just a real creep. He's not trying to kill anybody. He's just a real fucking creep.
Not to mention Bakersfield is a shithole.
Right.
On top of that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's probably...
Sometimes you got to do extra things to come in Bakersfield.
That's what I guess so. So he's convicted. He's sentenced to 4 years in prison, which seems light.
I don't know. It's pretty stiff.
That's light,
considering you didn't fucking really hurt anybody.
No, what he did with that knife?
That's a bit much.
Without that, I go, oh, this is a crazy thing and whatever. But with that, that's
a bit much.
You're going.
That's rape.
That's what I mean. That's at least rape and worse.
Yeah.
I feel like at least a dick isn't sharp.
Right.
And that's not to say that that's better.
Did it
God,
go?
that sounds terrible. I didn't mean it like that, but you know what I mean. A knife is a knife. It's a fucking deadly weapon.
God, Jesus, it's a murder weapon.
It's scary shit. So,
very few people have been killed by getting stabbed with a dick.
That would be that would be a dick. That thing would sound like that if it hit the table. It would fucking knock.
That's a hell of a dick.
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to like ride a bicycle or walk if you had a dick that
I think the only
people.
dick that has murdered people is a horse dick. Like it's something other than a male, like a human dick. Yeah. I don't think anybody's ever been. Right.
Well, there's that legend that queen, what's her name?
Oh,
she
what?
Fucked a horse to death.
Yeah. Oh, she fucked the horse to death?
The horse fucked her to death.
Right. Yeah. Oh, that's happened a lot.
Yeah.
There are dudes
that's a big
put
thing.
it on the internet.
Oh, yeah. That's
and then
a big thing. I don't know why they want to do that. That makes no sense. Wow,
that sounds terrible.
That sounds terrible, everybody. Tell you what, if I've heard anything that sounds terrible, that sounds terrible. Getting fucked to death by a horse.
It's real.
Not cool. So what ended up happening on this night? Not the night with Dana Schaefermeyer, or Deanna, the night with Jasper here.
Yeah.
Well, following the arrest of Hampton, they read him his rights, and he confesses to the officer here, and then gives a videotape confession of what he did.
Yeah.
Now, in the confession, this is his story of how this all went down. Because you go, why would you do this to an old man? Like, it doesn't seem like an old man would put up a big fight. Uh-huh. So he says that he ran into Jasper at the motel in the parking lot.
Yeah.
And he asked Jasper for a ride to St. Louis. He said, hey, man, he doesn't know Jasper at all, by the way. He just said, hey, man, will you give me a ride to St. Louis? I'll pay for gas, is what he said. Okay. And Jasper said, no.
Hell no.
I don't know you, and I'm not going to St. Louis.
I gotta go to Vegas.
Yeah, I don't know you. I'm not going there. Why would I take some weirdo from a motel parking lot to St. Louis? That's not great. So apparently, because he was getting in his car to drive away, so he ran up to him and said, hey, man, can you take me to St. Louis? And he goes, no, I'm not going that way. Whatever. So Jasper drives off alone. Comes back about 10 minutes later. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, maybe he went to get gas or whatever, grab another can of Dinty Moore. You never know.
Probably.
I assume so. And so he gets out, he comes back 10 minutes later, he goes up into his room. Mm-hmm. And Hampton watched Jasper go to his room, so he knows where it is. Apparently lets a few minutes go by. Enough time for him to get a can open and start digging in.
Yeah.
Just looking for a piece of meat. Right. And then Lloyd Hampton here knocks on Jasper's door and asks if he could use the bathroom.
Yeah.
Now, at this point, it's like, this is the guy from the parking lot that asked me for a ride. I'm not opening my fucking door for this guy again. Right. And now he said, can you use the bathroom? And Jasper said, fine, you can use my bathroom. Now, once inside, Lloyd tells Jasper, quote, that he's very foolish to let him into his room, which that's
a horrifying thing to say.
Lets him in, close the door, and he goes, well, you were stupid for doing that.
That was foolish.
Can you imagine how frightening that would be? Why?
A 60-something-year-old man?
Why is that foolish?
I'm frail.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
So he, at this point, Lloyd orders Jasper to lie down on his bed and then begins rifling through his shit, basically. He said, lie down and stay there while I look through your shit for something to steal. Right. So he's going through all his shit. He picks out a suitcase and a microwave that he finds in the room, picks those up, puts those over by the door.
Yeah.
We'll put these there for later. I don't want to forget them on the way out. You know what I mean? Which he's efficient. I'll give him that. You don't want to forget things. You know how it is.
Yeah.
You forget your keys. You forget your microwave. It's another guy's suitcase.
He's right here.
Right here.
It's a motel room. Okay, yeah. You're not forgetting anything, bud.
It's a room.
Right.
And it's probably not a great one, I'm going to guess.
I'm assuming it's a motel.
It is. It's a motel.
Yeah, it's a motel in Troy.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
It's not
We're
great.
Talking, that air conditioner that you have to turn the TV up 30 notches when it comes on.
Right.
It's one of those.
Deafen yourself to not hear that
shit. I don't, Your hair's blowing in the breeze. It smells like mold.
It's the grossest smell.
What was that place we stayed in L.A., Jimmy? That had
the Vagabond?
The Vagabond, that's it.
The one that their Wi-Fi is Vag for free.
If you're ever at the Vagabond Inn in Glendale there, outside L.A., it's close proximity to Hollywood. That's the thing. If you're just going there for a show.
It's $90 a night.
Not making any money.
Super affordable.
No, and it's I haven't seen, we've stayed there a couple times. I never saw any bugs.
Never.
So it's one of those. Yeah. It's clean in that regard, but everything is from, much like Jasper's Pontiac, 1978.
Right.
The carpet, the air conditioning, the furniture.
Yeah.
It's that sort of shit. So I feel like that's when the air conditioner would come on, it smelled like mold and cleaning product.
Yeah.
Like they went, just pour some Pine Sol in the air. It stinks.
Pour the Fabuloso right into the filter.
Directly. Wherever that air comes out, pour Fabuloso
right in the top
there.
Of that.
Let it dry, and then it'll...
Really?
Don't get rid of the mold.
No.
Just Fabuloso over it.
Real fix the smell.
We'll fix that shit now. Now, at this point, he sets everything by the door, Hampton does. And this is why he's an asshole. I mean, he's killing people. That's obviously an asshole. But the fact that he seems to enjoy inflicting torture on people and mental torment and anguish. Right. Because at this point, Hampton tells Jasper, you got a choice. Which, you're very foolish to let me in. Right. You have a choice. This is all weird movie shit.
We've already established that I make bad choices.
Yeah, let's not leave this up to me. How's that?
I've already made a bad choice tonight.
I let you in and I ate 2 cans of Dinty Moore today. I've had a rough day. Not doing the best day of choices. 2 bad choices.
Maybe 3 if you count each Dinty as a bad choice.
Yeah, Dinty and then more. So, I had Dinty, then I had more. So, Jesus Christ, this is so horrible.
Oh,
so, Lloyd tells Jasper that you have a choice. You can either be tied up and gagged, or I could kill you. Those are your choices.
Okay.
Tied up and gagged, or killed.
Right.
Which one? Now, as much as you don't want to be tied up and gagged, it is preferable to death, usually, I would say. Just in general. Most people are going to choose
as soon as you get those options, you generally look at the guy and go, you are right. I make terrible choices.
Yes, this
was a very foolish thing.
Foolish was a good way to put it, as a matter of fact. I like the way he did that.
Maybe I should have dropped you at St. Louis.
Damn it. Just giving him a ride.
Right.
Well, maybe. Or he probably would have just robbed him in the car.
Or have this play out in a fucking Pontiac. Which is worse? This event in a Pontiac or this event in a motel?
At least he can go out the window in a Pontiac. In the hotel room, you're fucked.
In the backwoods of fucking Illinois, though?
Who
knows?
Yeah, who knows, man? Those guys popping out in Les Mis shirts, judging you. No good. The whole thing's going to be weird. I'll run the Aryan Brotherhood around here. That's what the guy literally said.
Unbelievable.
I was like, he tells that to Steve James interviewing him in a documentary. I'll run the Aryan Brotherhood around. He's proud of it. Like, I'm the guy to talk to.
This is not what you brag about in public.
Oh, my God. It was amazing. So anyway, so Lloyd ties Jasper's wrists and ankles and puts tape over his mouth.
Okay, so he chose gag and tie.
He chose the former.
I think he chose the
You know what? I'll go with that.
Yeah.
So, he does this. Then he puts tape over his mouth, and he's afraid he's going to get loose. He's like, I don't know. He seems spry.
Yeah.
He seems spry for his age. I'm not sure here. So then Hampton puts tape over his mouth, or over his nose.
Now you can't breathe.
So now he's got it over his nose and his mouth. And then he put his hand over Jasper's nose and mouth to suffocate him.
Yeah.
He's like, well, I taped it up. Now if I put my hand on it, that'll probably just kill him pretty quick. So he does this.
Yeah.
And, he does this and thinks he's dead, right? So he's got a test to see whether he's dead.
Oh, my God.
Okay. Now, how would you test to see if someone was alive?
Pick up the hand and let it go.
Hulk Hogan sleeper hold style. 1, 2, 3. Oh, no! He's up, everybody! He's shaking his fist. The crowd. Pandemonium.
Hey, just pick up the hand.
It won't drop a third time.
He's dead.
I feel like a pulse would be a good way
Maybe.
to look at it.
Sit there and watch that chest.
You could get a mirror and put it under his nose.
Yeah.
You could watch his chest. You could feel a pulse in case it's light breathing because you've suffocated him, knocked him out. He could be kind of in a coma type situation, so you would feel his pulse. I would imagine. Lloyd has a different idea of how you test for death.
Oh, boy.
I'm really glad he's not like a medical examiner or, a doctor.
Yeah.
Anybody that would check to see if someone's alive, because his way of doing it's a little odd. He is under the impression Jesus Christ. He ends up saying that he heard in prison in Texas, because he's done time in multiple states, while he was in jail in prison, or jail in same thing. While he was in jail in prison, I'm just going to go with that. Texas prison, whatever, same thing. By the way, Dallas and Houston, that's sold out, so I don't care. Actually, there's like 5 tickets left for Houston.
Right.
Other than that, who cares? So anyway, he has been told in jail that dead bodies, one thing they don't do, is in addition to have a heartbeat or breath, is bleed.
What?
Once someone's dead,
who the fuck told him
they don't bleed anymore?
Oh, boy.
Some idiot in a Texas prison. This is, you know what I mean? Not the brightest. Don't take medical scientific advice from someone you meet in a Texas prison.
A, somebody meeting me, and B,
somebody you meet in a Texas prison.
They don't bleed. What?
No, once they're dead, and it's not even like you wait an hour and then they don't bleed.
Right.
Soon as they're dead, they don't bleed anymore. It's all the blood turns to like stone.
Cement.
It's like it's like a comic book or something. Like he's dead and everything just freezes up. And he turns into a stone person. That's how gargoyles are made.
They don't bleed if they have no blood. That's generally when they stop bleeding.
Drained first, maybe. But no, this, he says this, under the impression dead bodies don't bleed. So he takes his knife and starts slicing up Jasper's forehead to see if he's dead.
Yeah.
Just starts hacking away. I wonder if his forehead will bleed if I cut it.
God, Jesus.
Yeah, like some sort of demented wrestler again. We're back into this. So it started bleeding because, he's a human being with blood in his body. So at that point, he's like, well, fuck, he's not dead. Clearly, because he's bleeding. So he puts his hand over and just holds his hand over his nose and mouth with the tape for another 5-10 minutes just to make sure that he's dead. Now he's got to be dead. You know what I mean? So he said, but I got to check again, obviously.
Right.
I mean, he wasn't dead the first time. He could be playing possum.
Yeah.
You never know.
This is why you stay in school.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Biology in high school, he would have learned this.
He would have learned this in 8th grade health class. One more
Next year.
Hang on. You're almost there, big guy. Instead, he says, well, I want to check to see if he's dead. So what I'll do is I'll slice his throat. And then he sliced his throat. More blood came out, but it wasn't as active as the first time.
Yeah.
So he's just like, all right, good enough. And then he stuck the knife in his neck and was like, I'll leave that there.
God.
That's good. Yeah, he was like, all right, he's good. Like, plunk, okay, leave that. Don't need that later, obviously. I already used it to kill this guy.
If he wasn't dead, he is now.
He is now, yeah, that's the other thing.
Boy.
So he does that. That's the knife that was found when he was caught, obviously. Or the knife that was found in him when they walked in the room. After this, he puts the suitcase in the microwave and takes his $500 check that he made Jasper write out to him.
Suitcase in the microwave?
Suitcase and the microwave, not in the microwave. Yeah.
What? What's
it's a huge microwave, giant microwave, tiny suitcase.
Yeah.
And he drives to Livingston, Illinois, which is nearby, to a place called Bugs Lounge. And that's where he, Buggs. And that's where he tries to cash the check and buys a round for the house there. So,
So now he's got 380.
So now he's got 380, yeah. So he then gets back into the car and drives back to Troy. Because when you kill somebody and steal their car, you go back to where you came from.
Right.
No, stupid. Keep driving wherever you're driving, and stops at a Texaco truck stop. Plenty of gas stations to choose from in Troy, as we know from the reviews, where that's when the cops came upon him, said, "Why? Whose car is this? Why do you have a microwave?
Yeah.
Who wrote you this check? Let's check this all out."
Yeah.
So that's how that ended up working. He also ended up having keys to 2 safe deposit boxes registered to Jasper at the Troy Security Bank. So he was planning on hanging around and going to the bank and cracking the safe deposit boxes. That's it. He was going to go have a couple of drinks, and then he was probably heading back to the hotel to sit in the fucking room, and wait to go to the bank. That's probably what he was doing. Or to spend the rest of his money, or to spend another, $18.99 on another motel room in Troy, I suppose. Now, they confirmed the ownership, and they went in and they found the body. They found the room ransacked. He admits to killing. He gives that statement. They also, during the investigation, they find Hampton's fingerprints all over the crime scene. Saliva samples were consistent with ones taken from his cigarette butts found at the scene. And also a spot of blood found on his pants were consistent with Jasper's and inconsistent with Hampton. So he had the victim's blood on him, fingerprints all over the place, and saliva from his cigarette butts at the scene.
Not guilty.
Not guilty, clearly. Clearly he came in, lovers quarrel, he left, this guy couldn't handle it, Jasper had to commit suicide based on the jilted nature of the affair. Not so. So there's not a lot of doubt on who did this based on physical evidence and his brazen admittance of the whole, admitting of the whole thing. Oh no, I did it, of course. So a couple days go by, and they're going to charge him, obviously, with the murder. He gets indicted for murder, and he also is indicted of different charges as well. Of about 3 days before he murdered Jasper Pendleton, he apparently tied a woman up and held her captive for 4 days.
Oh, well.
Intermittently beating her with a hammer.
Holy shit.
This was 4 days.
A week of that.
This was 3 to 4 days.
Of that.
She didn't know whether it was 3 or 4 days. That's how it bled into another.
She lost track of sun
if you're
sundown.
Tied up being beaten with a hammer for days on end, you might just lose track of shit after a while, of where you are and when you are and everything else. Who knows if she had injuries and whatever. So he's going to be charged for that. She only got away. He didn't let her go. He didn't leave. She escaped.
Wow.
He fell asleep and she escaped and ran to the police, beaten with a fucking hammer, saying, "I've just been held captive for 3 goddamn days."
Holy hell.
So this guy is a fucking monster.
This is in Troy also?
This is also, this is right up the road. Okay. This is insane. I don't even know what to say about this, because he was going to kill her.
Yeah.
He was just having fun with it for a few days first. But he was going to kill her. This one, he was just like, well, I don't have to torture him because I just want to take his microwave.
I got to get out of town.
So he's going to come back. I'm going to need the safety deposit box.
Right.
That's the other thing. He was coming back knowing that this woman was out there too. He was like, well, I'm good on that, I guess. So he is charged with 2 counts of armed violence, a count of aggravated battery, and 2 counts of aggravated unlawful restraint for the woman. And then obviously, aggravated murder for his Jasper deal. He decides right away, he's like, I'm not going to fucking trial for this. I goddamn did it. And I'm happy to say I did it. I'm going to plead guilty. He says he's going to plead guilty to intentional murder, murder in the course of a forcible felony, i.e. robbery, and murder in the course of a second forcible felony, armed robbery. So he's pleading guilty to some death penalty level shit here. That's the thing. And there's a lot of people who would just love for him to get the death penalty. And Illinois at this point, since 1962, has not executed anybody. anybody.
Not a single one.
No, there's a guy on death row at this point, at this time that's going on, that is, they've been batting around for a while whether to kill him or not. And this is, kind of, so that's a hot button issue in Illinois at the time. And this is he's an unrepentant, because that's the other thing. It's just like, people have a hard time. We've talked about the death penalty a lot. And if you're new to the show, or you kind of catching up late, or, going backward, listening backwards, we don't know how we feel about the death penalty. We really don't have it should be there and it shouldn't be there. They fuck it up way too much. They fuck it up too much. They execute innocent people. So we don't like the death penalty.
I do like the idea and theory of it.
The idea of killing someone who definitely did something wrong sounds good. Right. But the point of you don't actually know is that's a problem. Is that in practice, they execute a lot of innocent people. And even if they execute one innocent person, that's probably too many for at all.
It's far too many.
But we also are under the thing of, we do a lot of cases where there is no doubt of the murderer who did. This is there's no question. No. It's not going to be like, I'm not sure he did it. He fucking did it. We know he did it. He said he did it. He definitely did it. Physical evidence corroborated. They didn't force a confession out of him. He was like, oh no, fire up the camera. I want to tell you everything that happened.
And
he was
he's
excited.
Going to plead guilty.
And he wants to plead guilty. All of this. So this guy is not a real... And the thing is that people will feel sympathy for people is remorse. They'll go, well, they're remorseful. And when you see someone that's remorseful, you go, well, Christ, I've made a mistake, and not that big of a mistake. But you think about that. But when someone's like, fuck that guy, I'm glad I killed him, it's hard to feel bad for him. Yeah. And it's hard to not go, well, then just execute him. Fuck this guy. There is a petition. A Herschel Crawford, who's a 73-year-old retiree from the Edwardsville area. He was a friend of Jasper's since childhood.
Of course he was.
They've been friends for 60 years, these people. He said that he and the other residents of Troy, they have a petition signed by more than 300 local residents saying, urging the authorities and the prosecutors to seek the maximum punishment against Hampton because of how well liked Jasper was, and what a beloved man in the community. He says, Crawford, it says of Pendleton, quote, he had been such a nice guy. Which, okay, that's good. He said that he has no relatives in Troy or anything else. Like, he's kind of by himself, Jasper.
Got a brother that's dying in Vegas, for fuck's sake.
Pretty much all he had.
Poor guy's got nothing.
Yeah, he said they said, well, what do the local people think of Hampton? And this Herschel Crawford's answer was, quote, they hope this bird does get the chair or however they do it now. That's what he deserves. This bird? Weird way to put it.
Isn't that what you call a lady?
A lady. Like if you're in England, an English woman,
and you're after her ass. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
You never call something that you don't want a bird.
Yeah, you wouldn't be. Yeah, you wouldn't call your grandma a bird.
Oh, jailbird. That's what he's calling him.
Oh, I hope this bird,
because he's a jailbird. He's been in prison his whole goddamn life.
I
he's
hope
a jailbird.
This bird does get the chair, however they do it now. That's what he deserves. So. That's the general sentiment of the town. They want to basically, if they could, they would take their pitchforks and come and drag this man away. Yeah. And, maybe that's what I mean. We would rather have that than have the state do some weird, because I just think executions are weird. Yeah. I think it's weird. It's creepy. If you take
weird way it's done,
it's creepy to take a human, no matter what they've done, just to take them and go, the state has issued a piece of paper that adults who went to law school have all signed off on and done all this shit, so then another guy can take you out of your cell and take you to a room where you calmly sit there while they kill you. It's a weird fucking thing.
And a shitload of people get to watch.
It's just weird. Yeah. I, as a human being, it's fucking weird. But to me, it's less weird for 300 angry people who knew the victim to come tear him limb from limb. To me, that feels like, all right, that seems reasonable to me. I don't know why. Obviously, that's harder on the person. But
again, though,
it seems more reasonable.
I'm sure that has happened several times where the guy didn't do it. You know what I mean?
Oh, several times. Absolutely. That's what I mean. Yeah. It's so specific. If you get a guy like this, unrepentant, doesn't give a fuck, physical evidence, confessions, a history of doing the same shit and progress, every factor you can get, and then you go, we'll let everyone kill him. we're going to put him in like a pen, and it's going to be like a Roman times thing. We're just going to put him in a pen where we do like bullfights, and we're going to release the town into him, and they can tear him limb from limb. Like, I don't fucking know.
Well, everybody eats and watches.
Yeah, and cheers. It's like medieval times. What's going on here?
We're having a grog of Pepsi.
Perfect. So he pleads guilty, and they do a pre-sentencing report to see, because they do that beforehand. They have the prosecutor works it up, and they try to look for. They have psychologists talk to him, and they try to see where he's at, and they try to, they go for all that shit.
Any scenario that you put together in terms of executing a prisoner, it all sounds just as ridiculous as the way we do it.
That's what I mean.
Every one of them.
It all sounds crazy.
It all sounds
do you want a meal, and then they give you a meal, and they treat you nice the last day, and they give you a meal, and how's it going, buddy? And here's
your priest talk to you.
Your mom's here, everything's great, and then they take you in, and they go,
we're going to murder you.
We're going to murder you in a very organized, calm fashion. It's super
guys
weird.
In white robes and shit.
It's fucking strange, dude. That's just as a human process. It's just weird. So the pre-sentence report, he tells the person that does the report that the whole reason he did this, he goes, "Look, I wanted to kill myself, but I'm too religious."
Yeah.
I'm the Lord.
Yeah.
I'm very much into the Lord, Jimmy. That's the thing. I mean, the Lord doesn't mind that I torture women for days at a time with hammers and stick knives in them and fucking kill old men.
I apologize.
I'm a very pious man, Jimmy. That's the thing. So I couldn't commit suicide. Yeah. Obviously, the ramifications. Have you read the Bible?
I'd go to hell for that.
They're very against it. Very much against suicide.
If you break the rules of the Bible, as long as you apologize and repent,
the thing.
There's no repenting after that.
Yourself, how you repent.
You can't apologize.
I mean, obviously, I'm at a conundrum there, so I figure I'd go on a murder spree, and this is how it works. So he said at this point, too, he says that he promises to kill other inmates or provoke fights in prison to get himself killed if he's not sentenced to death. He's like, if you don't kill me, so I'm going to get someone else to kill me,
He's
basically.
Making a great point.
I'll kill other people, too, and then maybe if I kill that guy, you'll sentence me to death. I'll kill as many people as I need to get sentenced to death, and in the meantime, I'll try to get killed by prisoners. Which doesn't seem like a hard thing to do.
He is a fucking terrible human being.
He's an awful person. His public defender, who's just, the picture of him would just be a guy with his shoulders shrugged and his arms out and his eyes wide going, what the fuck am I supposed to do with this?
What did I do to deserve this
case?
Is
this? Or he's going, this is an easy one. What do you want me to do? Nothing. I want to die. Great. Case closed. Have a good one. What the fuck?
I want to go home.
This guy, John Rakowski, he says that he believes Hampton doesn't really want to die, but is choosing to seek the death penalty because he sees it as the only way to control his own destiny, is what he says. He says, and this is another Patricia Vader from the Illinois Coalition Against the Death Penalty. She says,
this lady's against it too?
She says, quote, he's a gifted man.
Oh boy.
But he's just lost all hope. Why don't you just say he's a man, but he's a human being that's lost all hope. He's not a gifted man, I don't think.
How can that organization also be against it? This
Illinois
should be the only one where they're like, sometimes we're wrong.
Let's choose our battles. Hey, everybody, we're gonna sit this one out. Next time.
No comment? Everybody collectively? No comment. No comment.
I'll give you gifted if he knew that a body that was dead bled still.
Good point.
You're not gifted if you I heard in prison that if you stab somebody when they're dead, they don't bleed. That's not a gifted man. No. I'm sorry. So June 27th, 1990, they have a pre-sentencing hearing. Jesus Christ. His whole march to the death penalty is insane. This is fucking crazier than the crime. So they have a hearing. He chooses to waive his right to a jury sentencing and elects to proceed with a bench sentencing hearing, which he wants the judge to give him a thing, which is not smart.
Yeah.
You can sway jurors emotionally. You can't sway judges emotionally. No. Generally, he doesn't want to, though.
They're cold-hearted fucks.
And he knows that, and that's maybe he is gifted. This is his way of getting the death penalty. My lawyer might sway a jury, but this judge is going to look at me and go, this is the guy he's the first fucking guy in line to kill this guy.
This one I won't get in trouble for.
No. Yeah, they're not going to mind this one. So they have a hearing, because they have an eligibility hearing for the death penalty, and the court took judicial notice on the state's request of the factual basis presented at the guilty hearing. So basically, they entered all the factual facts of the case into this. Over the defense's objection, the court also admits into evidence certified copies of his prior convictions for the last 25 years, which does not look good for him.
That looks terrible
whatsoever, especially when you see the progression of him. Or if you want to die, hey buddy, you're batting 1,000. He's up for a position and he's the most qualified. The position of executed, and he's the most qualified. This is prior convictions for theft, robbery, escape, assault with a deadly weapon, all this type of thing. He's also, when he's in jail, he tries to escape all the time.
He sucks.
He really sucks. They also to put other things into the record here. They took judicial notice of information contained in the pre-sentencing report to his history of delinquency and criminality, and his statements to the interviewer saying that he's basically proud of this. They present the testimony of Linda Van Dyke, who's an employee of the Madison County Probation and Court Services Department here. She's assigned to prepare the pre-sentencing report. In her report, she says that she asked him, Hampton, about his family and background, and he cautioned her that he did not want any of this information that he's giving. He's like, if I give you my background, they're going to try to use this as mitigation.
Right.
So I don't want you using this shit for me, against me. You know how I mean.
Yeah.
For me, but against me because I want to die, because I'm trying to lose. So for, but against. Because that childhood is mitigating circumstances. Mother left, father beat him, ran away at 10, all that. That's all. Oh, maybe he didn't have a chance, mitigating life without parole type circumstances.
Oh, boy.
So he doesn't want any of that. He's like, this shit better not get in there like that. Also in the report, he says that he told her throughout the course of the interview that he didn't want any of the information that he gave her to be, quote, perceived as mitigating. I don't want you to take any of this as in my favor. So everything I tell you, I'm telling you this. Take it as he's a bad guy, not, oh, this poor troubled man.
Right.
That's what he's trying to say, basically. The report says that he tells this Van Dyke that he wanted the court to understand that he deserves the death penalty. That's what he really wanted to get expressed in this report. They said that he was obviously aware of that this would be in the sentencing report and everything like that. He was aware that this interview was a pre-sentence investigation interview, and he's aware of all this shit. It's not like she walked in and said, "Hi, I'm fucking Linda." Yeah. And then she started asking him questions, and he was answering them and didn't know what they were for or anything like that. He was aware of the purpose of the interview, everything like that. Now he does have another reason why he did it too. Mm-hmm. Okay, he says that he tells this Van Dyke that wow, this is amazing. He says, "Look, I was paid to kill this guy.
Okay,
I'm a hitman.
Yeah,
that's what I am. I'm a paid assassin.
Yeah,
I was paid to kill a 69-year-old man with no relations in the area because he's got lots of enemies, obviously, with a dead wife, eating Dinty Moore that never leaves his motel room." Clearly.
They just like me to make random hits from time to time.
They say, find the saddest man in town and kill him. And I did it. I'm the best there is, obviously. That is the saddest man in town. So I feel so bad for poor Jasper. Jesus Christ. So he said that, I was paid to kill him because a man told me that Jasper was a snitch.
Okay.
That's what he's a 69-year-old man. Yeah. So he's obviously up in the cocaine trade. And he's probably put several Colombian cartels behind bars, I feel, by this point in his life. So obviously he's a snitch that needs to be dealt with on a physical level. So he didn't tell her who had paid him. He wouldn't tell her that. He wouldn't tell her where the plan originated, who it was. He just said, there's a guy that paid me money to kill that old snitch.
Okay.
That's it. No details, none of that. He also, they defense objects, but in court during the sentencing hearing, they play the confession tape, the videotape, where he's like, "Oh no, I fucking killed him good. Oh yeah, no, he deserved it. Fuck that guy." Blah blah blah. So Jesus Christ. Then they present the crime scene investigator here, and, then that's the end of the prosecutions. The defense presents no evidence, which is not great. Closing arguments there. The trial court finds the state had proved beyond a reasonable doubt that he was over the age of 18 at the time of the murder and intentionally murdered him in the course of a burglary or armed robbery, making him death penalty eligible there. So he's got to do that. The state also argued that he was eligible based on his commission of murder for hire. They're like, well, if he says he got murder fuck it, who cares? Either way, you know what I mean? He robbed him and he was murder for hire.
Whichever story.
Put them all in there. Doesn't matter. Also, Deanna Schaefer-Meyer testifies. Oh, boy. He must have shit a brick when he saw. Well, he was probably like, awesome. She'll really get him to kill me.
This should work.
This'll work.
This should do it.
Oh, she doesn't like me at all. This is going to be, oh, boy. I was a doozy on that one. Let me tell you.
If you guys don't feel sorry for an elderly man, you're really going to.
Wait till you hear from her.
Wait till you hear from a young lady.
Oh, boy.
What did I do?
I did a lot of things. Wow. She testified that this poor fucking woman was in counseling for post-traumatic stress for over a year after the assault.
Oh, it ain't stopping anytime soon.
I was going to say she's probably in and out.
Yeah.
She also said that she did say that he has not tried to contact her since his release from prison, which that was the defense's like, well, he hasn't tried to contact you since then, right? And she's like, no. And they're like, well, see.
Well, he
learned his lesson.
You guys know what has happened to me, and if he does it again, then he's for sure going away.
Yeah,
so he's not coming to find me now.
It's fucking ridiculous. Now they talk to him. He makes a statement. Lloyd, he says, quote, Jesus Christ, I would like to say that I should be sentenced to death. I'm aware of the Supreme Court ruling in April concerning appeals filed in behalf of a condemned man. We've went over this actually once before, where outside parties can file appeals for you. If he doesn't want those appeals, and I would like to state for the record, although it's been pointed out to me that I have state appeals I have to go through, once those are over, those are the auto appeals, I don't wish to have my case appealed by anyone. Wants to fucking die.
Yeah.
So the judge says, well, you know what? You, sir, may fuck off. Death penalty for you. Why not? That's what the hell?
Yeah.
You know what? Throw yourself a little party if you're so fucking excited about it. Great. Woohoo.
Yeah.
We're jacked too.
Yeah.
So at his sentencing, he tells the judge who imposed the sentence, they say, do you have anything to say after the sentence? And he says, this is fucking amazing. He says, quote, it's one of the few times in my life that I've ever got what I wanted. I don't know what to tell all those liberal crybabies out there. I believe in the death penalty.
Wow.
As they're taking him away to pre-execute it at some point. He is making... I don't even know what to say about it.
He's just rubbing it in.
One of the few times in life I ever got what I want. Thanks, Judge.
I believe in the death penalty, and, fry this man. He deserves it.
Especially for me.
Yeah.
Now, Schaefer-Meyer agreed. She actually said the prosecutors were too lenient in agreeing to a plea bargain in her case, and he was only, he served only 2 years of the 4-year sentence in California. She said, quote, the system had its hands on this guy, but he was let out and an innocent person wound up dying. And also beaten by a fucking hammer.
Right.
So multiple things. Now, another quote from Hampton, I have to tell you, he references a guy named Walker in this. Walker is the guy who they took forever to figure out if they were going to execute. And he's the guy who was the first guy executed in years in Illinois. He says, quote, I am constantly being told Walker had to sit here a long time and so will you. In the first place, Walker didn't start trying to dump his appeals until he'd been here for quite some time. In the second place, while he was trying to dump them, there hadn't been an execution in Illinois for over 27 years. So he's like, they will kill me. God damn it. Him, one thing, but I'm on the fucking fast track.
I'm asking.
They killed him already.
He's struggling. He's squirming.
He set the road straight for me. Then they asked him a little bit more about the death penalty, and this is one of the most honest things anybody's ever said in a terrible way. He says, quote, I am and always have been a firm believer that the punishment should fit the crime. I suffocated a man, then put a long-bladed butcher knife all the way through his throat and left it there. I did the entire thing very slowly, putting him through much mental torture. If that doesn't call for my death, then there's no crime that does. He's like, do you know how fucked up I am? Did you see what I did to that guy? Are you kidding me? Who's more fucked up than me? Come on. Stick the needles in me. Let's go.
Did Gacy get the death penalty, or did he get life?
No, he got life.
He got life. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was he stuck the blade in so it protruded out the other side.
Yeah, but that's fucking crazy that this guy does this and gets the death penalty. But I guess Gacy probably went with the not guilty shit.
Gacy also, if you remember, was in his lawyer's office when he got arrested. Like he was going to his lawyer ahead. They were setting that up ahead of time to make deals and shit like that. Like he knew
he didn't want death.
This is a different story.
This guy wants death.
This guy is trying for death and wants death. He refuses to have any mitigating shit. Now, after this goes on, he's sitting on death row or in prison here. He continues to maintain that he tells people in letters and interviews that he killed Pendleton for a reason. That he was passing through Southwest Illinois after he got out of prison in California when he was hired to kill Pendleton. He said that the man who hired him, who was an unnamed former Illinois inmate, said that Jasper was a snitch who had helped send him to prison, so he needed to die. Okay. And Lloyd was the man to do it. Yeah. A stranger who you just met who was passing through town. Clearly,
popped over at a job fair and got himself a job.
He doesn't even have a car.
Right.
You're going to trust this guy to murder people and get away with it? The fuck are you talking about?
Unreal.
So he says that he will not rat on the man who hired him, but he says he also made sure to commit other crimes while killing Pendleton and torturing him, like burning his eyelids with cigarettes and stealing his belongings to ensure that he got the death penalty. Yeah. He's like, torture, that's part of it.
Yeah.
Fucking, steal shit. Yeah, he's running the checklist. Murder for, okay, good. This should do it. Jesus Christ. So, good God. Also, the police chief, it's from the city of Troy, Robert Joseph Noonan, he talks about a letter that he received from L.W. Hampton, which is Lloyd Wayne Hampton. It said that Jesus Christ, he referred to Jasper in a derogatory manner several times and expressed his lack of remorse further and repeatedly for the murder. Kept saying, I really don't care that I killed him and I don't like him and fuck that guy. And so, that was also put into the whole thing. So there's an auto appeal. Obviously, it's a death penalty case. So, auto appeal here, goes in. He's, Jesus Christ. He's trying to find multiple things here. They're trying to find, error in trial court's reliance on an invalid aggravating factor. That's what they're trying to do here. The aggravating factor here was committed during the commission of a burglary, but because the motel room was Jasper's residence, it should have been charged as committing a residential burglary, which is not under the death penalty statute. In 1990, the death penalty statute, when he killed Jasper, listed burglary as a factor, making one eligible for death, but not residential burglary. It didn't specifically leave it out, but it omits it. Yeah, so
it doesn't say
it in there. So now it's corrected at this point, but when he's under 1990 law, because that's when he committed it. So they're like, now they're going,
we got to do a new one?
That's how that works. So the statute on this whole thing, it's basically, like we said, it's eligibility. First is, are you over 18? Second is, do you have the aggravating factor? So they're going over that. Hampton's attorneys argue that the judge characterized burglary as an aggravating factor when in fact he wasn't guilty of burglary, but rather residential burglary, and was sentenced on the basis of an invalid aggravating factor. Then he argues that death penalty, basically that Illinois is called a weighing state, where which aggravating factors are weighed against mitigating factors, he says. So that's how that works. He says then, if that's true, the scales were improperly balanced against him by the judge for allowing an invalid aggravator, obviously. I mean, I don't know if, come on, man, Jesus Christ. He says the differences between weighing and non-weighing states are the difference in sentencing schemes in Georgia and Mississippi. In Georgia, the fact finder is, quote, not instructed to give any special weight to any aggravating circumstance, to consider multiple aggravating circumstances any more significant than a single aggravating circumstance, or to balance aggravating against mitigating circumstances. Where in Illinois, everything's got to be balanced.
Got it.
It's It's that sort of thing. Now, he's in jail, and he is pushing hard for an execution.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah. He wrote letters to the prosecutors promising, if you don't kill me soon, I'll start killing jail guards, basically. I'm going to start killing everyone around me if you don't execute me, starting with the guards, because you don't seem to care about the inmates, but you probably care about the jail staff.
Yeah.
So I'll start stabbing them. Execute me. He also says, by the way, I really, really enjoyed killing Roy Jasper, and I feel no remorse still. So that's still on the table. And I'm going to kill jail guards if you don't fucking kill me. So, 1992, they move him to death row. It's moved to the Menard Correctional Center here. He spent his final days writing letters to family and friends, watching TV, that sort of shit. He said he persuaded his relatives and friends not to join efforts to stop his execution. November 7th, 1992, executions in 4 days. He basically has like a hat on that says "kill me," and he's waving like pom-poms and flags saying "can't wait to die."
Right.
He's cheerleading the whole thing. Days before this ends up happening, he says he wants the death penalty. He's calling death penalty opponents that are trying to get it stopped meddlers. You and your meddling kid. I would have been executed already if it wasn't for you meddling kids.
What is he doing?
Who are trying to stop that. He says he's getting what he deserves and what he wanted when he killed Roy Jasper. He says that's why he fucking did this. And now you're trying to say, God damn it. He said, quote, I had given up on trying to make it. So he did that. He said, I was at a point in my life where I was sick of being there, sick of being out there, sick of being in here all my life. What was I going to do out there? I decided I either had to put myself in a position of being killed by somebody or else committing suicide. At that point, I had strong beliefs about not killing myself, about someone taking his own life. So I put myself in a position to have the state kill me. Yeah, I love your religious beliefs don't preclude you from murdering.
Right.
But yeah.
But you can't murder yourself.
Yeah, that's unfucking real, but not yourself, because that would be bad. Because you care, because you're so scared to go to hell. Fuck you.
You're such a holy man. And your body that matters to Christ.
Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous. He talked more about the meddlers in this interview. He said, "quote I never knock those people. They do what they believe in. I don't expect them not to do their job. But there's no doubt in my mind, or really anyone else's, that I am competent. The judge had no doubt. The state Supreme Court had no doubt. There's no doubt about it. Look, a bad or terrible childhood can be a reason for why you do something, but it's never an excuse. If you know the right things to do and willingly choose to go the wrong way, that is not your childhood." There's always, and then he said, the death penalty opponents, saying, he's about him having a terrible life. Yeah. They always say stuff like that. Look at the poor little guy. He got his nose broke by his dad when he was a child, but I don't buy that. So then he went on to warn outsiders not to file appeals on his behalf. He doesn't want his shit put off any longer. He said that, basically if someone files something at the last minute, he could be being wheeled out there and they're going to stop it to do the court thing. So he's worried that that's going to happen at some point.
Kind of cool. It's almost like stabbing a bed around his head.
Yeah, just pull him back and forward and back and forward. Just keep doing it.
Oh, that'd be great.
That would be wonderful.
Oh, shit.
That's what we do to torment this asshole for years. Just keep doing it over and over again.
So good.
4 or 5 times a week. He expects, he says that his sister, one of his 6 siblings, and some friends are going to visit him before. Who's friends with this piece of shit? He says he feels sympathy for Jasper's friends and relatives, but not for Jasper. No, none for him. Yeah. He says that he abandoned all hope. He said he's abandoned hope that execution will send a message to others who commit crimes. He said that doesn't work. It's not a deterrent. He said it's just, for him, it's you deserve it, so you should get it, but it's not going to stop anybody else from doing anything, which is kind of, I think, the logic. That's kind of like the true logic. If you want somebody to be executed, say it's because you think they deserve it. Don't say it's a deterrent, because mathematically it's not.
It's just not.
We just know that for a fact now. We've done the math. It's been out for a while, not a deterrent.
This guy in specific, in particular, it was the motivator.
It was a motivator, yes, exactly.
Less than a deterrent.
Yeah, well, back in the day, or if there was no death penalty, maybe he would have just went and started shooting at cops or something and hoped to get shot. But I don't know. So he says, quote, kids these days, especially in big cities, they're already hardened. They don't pay attention to people like me. To them, I'm a fool who got caught. Yeah. That's the fucking factor right there. They all think, well, I'm not going to get caught. Right. Death penalty proponents say it's a deterrent, but only an idiot thinks that it's that executing me will deter any future criminals. It only deters the one being executed. Right. Fair. And that's what other people that are pro-death penalty will say, well, he ain't going to kill again. Well, that's true.
I'm fine with that.
Okay. So, I mean, there's arguments on both sides. So Amnesty International obviously is opposed to the death penalty here. They said they will ask the governor formally to stop all this shit, which is insane. So November 9th, 1992, a panel of physicians, he's scheduled, I think, on the 12th to get executed. Okay. November 9th or the 11th, a panel of physicians try to block the execution of Lloyd here. They say the presence of a doctor at the execution violates medical ethics, which I've wondered for years. How the fuck do you do that? How do you participate in that if you're a doctor? 13 doctors asked the state medical disciplinary board to punish any physician who assists in a death penalty thing, even if all the doctor does is pronounce him dead, if he participates in any way. One of them says here, a legal aid group, quote, the right of a profession to enforce its own ethical standards supersedes the state's desire to involve physicians in the taking of a human's life. Perfectly fucking fair. Yeah. If you're a doctor, you can't be forced to do it. If you don't want to do it, you shouldn't. He says the state's doing him a favor. He says, quote, if they did it yesterday, it wouldn't be soon enough for me. So that's what he's saying here. He just keeps, they're saying, oh, don't execute him. He's like, nope, yesterday. Yeah. Fucking tomorrow.
Yesterday was late.
Would have still been goddamn late here. So, he says, quote, this is, quote, the coalition's going to file a petition for clemency. This is Amnesty International, with the governor, and he's going to deny it. No, I'm sorry. This is Hampton. Coalition's going to file a petition for clemency with the governor, and he's going to deny it. I've told people all along they're not going to mess with me like they did with Charles Walker. By the end of this year, I'll be gone. Okay. So that's it.
We're in November.
We're in November. This is November 9th. The prison says, they asked the prison, and the spokesman, the corrections department spokesman, Nick Howell, says the lethal injection machine has been tested, and Hampton's been moved to the, quote, X house, which is the death house there. And he said, quote, we're all ready to go. We got it fired up. We cleaned the fucking tubes out on that thing like a soda fountain thing. It's ready. I mean, it's clean. It's coming out.
We're all ready to go.
We're ready to go. I love that. We're all ready to go. I mean, we will kill the shit out of this guy right now.
That's really great. That's a good quote.
We're all ready to go over here. See him like rubbing his hands together.
Yeah. We're all clean.
Everybody good? All right. No, it's spotless in here.
Here we go, sir.
We're prepped.
Bring him.
We made a banner that we hung and everything. There's confetti's going to fall from the ceiling.
Body.
As soon as the needle goes in.
Just need a body.
Where is he?
Yeah.
He is asked to be cremated, Lloyd, by the way, which they should just go, no. We'll do what we want with you. We're going to hang you around, use you as a fucking piñata if we feel like it. Sorry.
We'll let fucking female prisoners bury you.
That's it.
Because that's what they fucking do.
You know what actually? Well, you know what we'll do? When you die, everything, obviously, all your blood turns to stone. Right. So then we'll just bash you in a bunch of little pieces.
Just drop you in a lake.
Wow, he says that
he is an anchor for the fishing derby.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. He says that the circumstances of his execution will deprive him of his two last wishes. One will be he's going to be put to death in a, quote, Yankee state, and he's a Southerner, so he's mad that the Yankee state's going to kill him, and he's going to be executed while there's not. He wants a Democrat to be in the White House while he's executed for some reason. What? I don't know if it's
he's making a statement,
the Democrat, or if he just would rather. I don't know.
It's just to make a statement.
Yeah. So, now he explained, a little more about he wanted to kill himself and religion and all that. So November 11th, 1992 comes around. Execution day.
Yes.
Execution day. Last meal, Jimmy.
Yes.
Last meal. What do you think he got? I always like to guess.
Is there fried chicken and okra?
No, there is no food at all. His last meal, coffee and cigarettes.
I like it.
This fucking guy.
I fucking like that.
I like that. Coffee and cigarettes. I don't need food. What am I going to need food for?
That's awesome.
He said that he only wants that. He said, quote, what's the point of gobbling down a last meal? If they order one for me, I'd probably give it to one of my visitors here. Mm-hmm. Just whatever. Problem is, last minute appeal is filed on his behalf.
Now you're hungry.
Fuck. So
now you're hungry and you have to take a shit.
And now you're like, shit, now I gotta go. Maybe that's what he wanted. He's like, they're gonna clean my shit up when they kill me, I'll tell you that much. Now it's at this point his sister and his friends came in to visit with him for hours, and they convinced him to file an appeal.
Really?
His sister did. Yeah, it was his sister that convinced him. So then he went to his attorney and said, okay, file the fucking appeal. They file the appeal, puts the thing on hold. He claims that the guilty plea was made not knowingly or intelligently.
Oh, no.
He screamed from the roof. He wore a shirt to court, basically, that said, I killed that cocksucker, Roy Jasper, and I don't fucking feel bad about it.
And for the last 2 years, that's all you've been saying.
That's it. He said his constitutional rights were violated because the trial judge, before accepting the guilty plea, failed to admonish him that his prior convictions could mandate a sentence of natural life imprisonment under this if he was not sentenced to death. So he says the state argues that the challenge to the voluntariness of the guilty plea was waived by his failure to raise it on direct appeal.
Right.
Like, he had an appeal and didn't fucking say that. Right. He also points to the he said he didn't murder Pendleton in the course of an armed robbery, which is obviously
horseshit.
Obviously horseshit there. He also says that he was denied effective assistance of counsel. This guy was like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with this guy? What's he supposed to do? Knock him out and file appeals for him?
I'm ineffective because you gave me nothing.
You don't want me to be effective.
No.
How am I supposed to be effective? He says that the attorney failed to advise him that if he didn't receive the death penalty, he could be sentenced to life imprisonment as a habitual criminal, and further that he failed to move to vacate the guilty plea based on the deficiency of the trial court's admonition. So from before, saying you fucked up multiple times. His final argument challenges the constitutionality of Illinois' death penalty statute. He contends the statute's unconstitutional because a certain section allows the sentencer to consider at the second phase of the death penalty hearing aggravating factors apart from the ones specifically described in the statute. It's a technical ticky-tack bullshit. They say, you're fine. Yeah. Fucking chop. Yeah. Stick a needle in this asshole.
You still good to go over there?
You still ready? Keep it warm. Keep it running. But all of this ends up having a 6-year delay.
Oh, my
Five
word.
and a half year delay. January 20th, 1998 is finally execution day again. So that's how long that all took. Yeah. So long. Execution day 2, execution boogaloo, lethal injection boogaloo, as we like to say. Last meal. This time he gets specific. Yeah. He wants Coca-Cola and unfiltered Camels cigarettes. Wow. That's what he wants. Unfiltered Camels and fucking Coca-Cola. Now that's how you go out right there. I like that. That would be close to what I would get as my last thing. Except I want a filter. It's still gross. I don't want tobacco in my mouth.
Yeah, well, I mean, at this point.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Shit, right? Yeah, I just meant
he's probably going his whole life going, I'd really like an unfiltered, but they'll kill me.
That health is
those
rough.
Will get me.
Those will get me. Now he's like unfiltered Camels and Coca-Cola. Yeah. This time, no one came to visit him either.
Oh, nobody to talk him out of it.
Nobody to talk about him at all. Nobody to talk to him and talk him out of it. Well, he's exhausted as shit now. Yeah. So last words here. He says, "quote I offer no excuses for the things I've done or have not done. I've been running from myself since I was a small boy in Texas, and my 44 years have been filled with intense anger and rage. I blame no one but myself, and I hope my loved ones will forgive me for the sorrow I have caused them. If God feels I am worthy of his forgiveness, I'll soon be with my grandparents, brother, and daughter."
No, you won't.
No. And then they stuck the needles in him, and he was fucking dead. Yeah. They executed him.
44 years old.
44, James. All that mess.
Unreal.
That's crazy. But that's not the last he's heard from.
No.
In 2012. By the way, as he was going up to execution, he also said he's killed other people.
Yeah.
He said, he wouldn't say who, but he says he's killed 3. He said he killed at least 3 people in the last few years, over the course of the country. Okay. So in 2012, basically this is after they created in 2011, Florida created a DNA profile from the blood of Ted Bundy to an attempt to link him to some other murders that were, because Jesus Christ, if you look at like how many murders he did, but then look at how many people actually were murdered in that way in the Northwest that weren't, it's so many where you're like, Christ, he could have killed 30 more people. We don't fucking know.
Could have been insane.
Could have been crazy. And I think he probably did. Yeah. So they did this to attempt to find him. But there where the law profiles of convicted felons can be uploaded into the database and all this sort of shit, they do all of that. They basically they ended up taking another thing here for Illinois does this, and they're looking at the blood samples for 12 condemned inmates between 1977 and 2000 when there was the moratorium on the death penalty there, and these are all the condemned criminals of Illinois. They made DNA profiles of John Wayne Gacy to see if he killed anybody else, and 2 other people, including Lloyd Wayne Hampton, who was executed. There was a lot of crimes committed outside the state, and they said they want to match his shit with basically all 50 states. They have to go over and see if there's find anything. So basically, they think he killed other people. His DNA profile is sitting right next to Gacy's on the shelf, being looked at for other crimes and other murders that he even said he committed. So that is Lloyd Wayne Hampton, and I don't feel too bad for him. He seems like a real asshole.
I'm bummed that Jasper got
he got the shaft.
Poor bastard,
What a
man.
fucking rough end of his life.
Jesus,
First of all,
man.
he's a retired janitor.
Yeah.
So he worked his whole life cleaning up other people's shit, number one. So his job, it's not like he had a glorious life. Yeah. He worked as a janitor. Maybe he had a happy life or whatever. Then his wife dies.
And then his whole fucking life changes.
Yeah. In his 60s. So he's not even that old where in his 60s is too young to lose your spouse if you're together. And then you say, I guess I'll just live in this motel and eat Dinty more and sit in my Razy Boy. And then this asshole comes and kills you. It's like, Jesus Christ, man. Whoa. But this guy's a fucking menace. The knife around the head thing is that's
if it wasn't Jasper, it was somebody else.
See, he would have killed other people. There's no doubt he was killing more people.
Absolutely.
If Jasper would have just not opened the door, he'd have killed someone else that day. He was just looking
right next door.
That's what I mean. He probably waited for the next person to come pull in and go into their room, and he'd have knocked on their door. So
stay out of motels.
And I think he probably also looked at Jasper and saw near 70-year-old man and said, he looks weak. I can overtake him. That's an easy mark right there. I could fucking roll him. Mm-hmm. So that is small town murder, everybody. Wow. That's a doozy of a case, again, as we always have doozy of cases here. And by the way, if you like the show, come see us at a live show. Yeah. I'm telling you right now, if you like this show, you will like a live show so much more. Yeah. It's so much. People come to live shows like, oh my God, I didn't know what to expect, but it's so much better than the show. Because it is. You're getting exactly what you like here. Plus, you're getting visuals and like jokes in the visuals and things like that. It's so much extra in the live show. It's such a good time. We have a blast. Really is a lot of fun. So please come out to a live show. Not a lot of tickets left, like we said. This weekend, Philly and DC, there's tickets left for that. Otherwise, rest of the tour, I believe there's like 25 tickets left in like 5 different cities. Yeah. And the rest is all sold out collectively. And then even April in Nashville is sold out. So come check us out. We're going to introduce a new slate of tour dates very soon for early 2020.
Can't wait.
Northwest, Portland and San Francisco, Salt Lake, Denver. We remember you guys, everybody. We're going to come to places we missed and
try to get back to Boston and New
York. Yeah, some of the places we missed on this tour. A few places we've never been. Yeah, we're going to try to get to. So we're going to do that. Probably not a lot of dates in the South, right? Because I've seen my cousin Vinny, and no, thank you. That's a documentary to me. Sorry. I'm sorry. No, I'm not fucking doing that. No.
Well, I'm good at cars, James. I'll name the real one.
Nope.
I'll name the real killer. Don't worry.
Dude, I'm telling you, dude. We'll give you full disclosure on this. We're playing Nashville 2 nights. Yeah. And they offered us Huntsville, Alabama the night after that. And we went, nah, we're good with Nashville. And they're like, yeah, but you can totally sell that. It's not that far. We went, well, we know. We're good. We just don't need to go to Huntsville. Right. And nothing against Huntsville. I'm sure it's a fine place. place, but we're good in Nashville and then we'll come home. It's 2 shows, 2 nights, and then we'll come home. So they said, well, what they kept trying to get us to do it. They actually offered to drive us in a limousine from Nashville to Huntsville, Alabama. And I said, first of all, I will only take that ride. The only way is in the back of an open pickup truck with Jimmy and myself sitting next to each other while someone's dog stares at us and wind blows drool off its face onto our clothing.
While we sit on chicken crates.
That's the only way I'll accept a ride into Huntsville, Alabama, is by that. But, sorry about that. But yeah, come see a live show. We have a really, really good time. We do that. And if you liked this show, you know what you can do? Yeah. Get on Apple Podcasts, that purple icon, give us a review. Doesn't matter what you say. Right. Give us 5 stars and then say, these guys told me to do this. Doesn't matter. It's not for our ego. You cannot fix us with words. It's just to help drive us up the charts. For some reason, that does that.
They want it.
They want it.
Give it to them.
Give it to them. So thank you guys for everybody that does that all the time or has done that before. And if you haven't done it, please do it. Also, shutupandgivememurder.com is where you get the tickets to all those live shows. Also, you get all sorts of great merchandise and everything like that. We have all sorts of cool stuff. Check out everything on there. Follow us on social media at Murder Small on Twitter, at Small Town Pod on Facebook, and at Small Town Murder on Instagram. I love how we don't have the same one on any of the platforms. These are all different ones taken.
Everybody's different.
Everybody's different. So there's that. So follow us there. Do all of that. And if you want to be, I don't know, almost a god, really. Yeah. Almost just an infallible being that we worship the glow of every night.
Yeah. A generous being.
An angel.
A generous deity.
A true angel. Yeah. This is what angels are. You can donate to the show and be one of these angels who we're going to talk about just a moment. Our producers who have halos and wings also and float around and spread pixie and fairy dust. Our producers, if you want to be one of this exclusive group of people who we love so much. Yeah. And also, by the way, we put up, like last week, we put up a bonus episode on Patreon. Yeah. We do some bonus stuff for $5 and above on Patreon. Not a ton of stuff, at least 1 or 2 shows a month of, a smaller story or something like that. But you get an extra show. Yeah. And honestly, we put out a lot of shit. Yeah. So if you feel like we deserve a couple bucks, thank you for throwing it at us. We really appreciate it. And if you want to do that, very easy. You could do it Crime and Sports. Jesus Christ.
It's patreon.com/
the email. Good Lord. It's patreon.com/crimeandsports or go over to PayPal and use our email address.
That one.
Which is crimeandsports@gmail.com. I haven't slept in 3 days, by the way. I've had to prepare these shows and we have to get on a fucking plane.
Let's see how much you sleep between now and Monday, James.
Oh, very little. It's going to be a lot of fun. So you can do all that. You can get to both of those links, by the way, right from our website, shutupandgivememurder.com. Without further ado, Jimmy, damn it, we have to get on this plane.
Let's get out of here.
But before we do, I need to fly into the night knowing who loves us, Jimmy. Yeah. Tell me all these people.
This week's executive producers are Chrissy-Ann Castaldi, Nilu Rafsanjani, Adam Apple, or Apel, Clay Thorson, Britton Edwards, Liz Moy, Catherine Collado. Good luck, by the way. She just, her business is her business, but she's got some stuff going on. Good luck. Gina Kudajaroff and Tyler Nymiller. Thank you guys so much.
We
really
everybody.
Appreciate you guys. You really do the Lord's work.
Thank you.
Whichever Lord it is. Jesse Hartman, Alyssa May Create. She donated both ways. Thank you, Alyssa. B-Rad Stacy, Allison Mathis, Reagan Shockley, Lindsay Colgan, Lainey Zufelt Olson, Peyton Meadows, Charles Volk, Maria Wolf, Gary Howard. Thanks, Gary. Shannon Alkari, Artis Simmons. No, Semantis. Jordan Bennett. Thanks, Jordan.
Jordan
Sam Terranova.
We'll see Jordan more.
Yes, we will. A lot more, I'm sure. She's coming. There's so many.
Coming to a couple more shows.
Yeah. Sam Terranova, Emily Trout, Ronnie Kumar, and Ronnie donated twice. Thanks, Ronnie.
Thank you, Ronnie.
Paige Myers, Kenneth Meinhardt, TJ Mack. Oh, thanks, TJ. Appreciate you.
TJ.
Hopefully, we're going to see her probably soon, right?
I hope so. Philly, I think.
Yeah. That's where she's at.
Let's hope so.
Bud Favinger,
it's his favorite finger.
Maybe so. Chris Tarot, Tiffany Robertson, Teresa Harmon, Morgan. That's Morgan Mahany. Trevor Selk, Vicky Lindsay, Zachary Eanes. Stephanie Hernandez, Sally with no last name, Web Tang, Carmen Marquionda. She donated twice. Thank you, Carmen.
Thank you.
Kim, you know what? That could be a dude too. I don't know who Carmen is, but thank you, Carmen. I appreciate it. Kim Radisky, Megan Aguilar Ames, Laura Lafernier, I think so. Megan Charlier or Charlier. She could be more Charlie than you are. Kristen Wright, Crystal Walker.
Kristen Wright, Crystal wrong.
Right. No, wait, where am I? Matt Herder, Morgan Hodakowski, Susan Rodriguez, Paul Edger, House Myth, I think that's a reference to something else, I'm sure, right?
I don't know.
Susanna Rodriguez, I said that. Robin Anderson, Reverend John Gilliard. He came through again.
Good Reverend.
We missed you,
buddy. Good to see you, brother.
Wish you would have been in Atlanta.
Shit, yeah, man.
I don't know what happened.
Missed you, man.
Yeah. Michael Abrams, Havana Simmons, Tara Morse, Rachel with no last name, Devin Resnikoff, Amy with no last name, Leanne with no last name, Justin Miller, Nicole. This is a tough one. Pungatori, I think.
All right.
Probably. Carrie Berger, Stephanie Jones, Amanda Joy, Rachel Elizabeth with no last name, or her last name is Elizabeth. Laura Rodino. That's it, that. Rodino. LaDonna Little Elk.
Cool.
I can't imagine that's a last name, but it might be.
It might be.
Could be.
Might be a native name.
Oh, good call. I didn't even think about that.
Fucking.
Because I'm a dummy. Piper LaRue.
Andrew Jackson. I will not accept Native American names.
Annie Vanderhayden, Lisa Martin, Marcos Simpson, Andy Overton, Jody Tristano, Selena Saitanovich. Thank you, Selena. Jonathan Nesbitt, Crystal Wilkins, Lisa Sivagal. God damn it, Sivagnoli.
Yeah.
I think. Todd Sabby, Ryan with no last name, Neil Kosker, Gravity Head Zero, Ethan Lowry? Shit. Denali Hyatt, Elizabeth Dibble, that's it. Courtney Wren, Stephen Rude, Claire Chad, it's Claire Chao. Or Chow. Sarah nice. Hughes, Stephanie Bush, Desiree Norman, Chris Reber, Rachel or Rochelle Ridge, Homestretch, Denise Felsey, Long On Nguyen. I can't do that. I'm terrible. On ANH is the middle name. Cracked rose-colored glasses. I got that. Janet Crosscheck, Ricky Harris, David Sutton, Ward Palmer, Stacy with no last name, and Heather Harrison, and of course all of our Patreon donators and patrons. Is that what they are?
Yeah.
I think that's what they are. Thank you guys so much for everything you guys do. You really make this happen. You make this worth it.
Thank you, everybody, from the bottom of our hearts. Yeah. Honestly, man, you guys are just incredible, and you don't have to do it, and you do it anyway. Right. So that makes it even more. Even if you had to, like, if this was like a pay to listen type thing, we'd be amazed that you did it. But the fact that we go, it's free, and you go, you know what? I like it so much. I think you deserve a couple bucks, even though you're not making me give you a couple bucks. That's like another level of,
and you're literally changing two dudes' lives, and making the road shows much easier.
Yeah, I have health insurance, guys. You understand that?
Right.
I bought a skateboard again, so I'm like, I can hurt myself now, and it's okay. Like, literally, I can't tell you how amazing it is. So thank you, guys.
We have a rental car because airplane travel is insane.
Yeah.
And they don't make flights that are possible.
Where we need to go, when we need to be there.
But we have a rental car because of you guys.
So thank
you so much for everything you do for us.
Absolutely. Jimmy, what if they wanted to thank you or yell at you or anything else otherwise? How could they do that?
Well, if you want to tell me that I'm spending your money wisely, you can go to at Whisman Sucks, WHISMAN Sucks, on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat, and tell me congratulations on being a good friend driving James so goddamn far, and hopefully letting him sleep. Where can they find you?
I'll be working in a car, driving through the mountains of Pennsylvania, trying to put together next week's crime and
mountains
sports.
In Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
we're going to find those.
Yeah,
they got the Appalachians.
Full of mountains.
You're
it's
right.
Mostly mountain. As a matter of fact. A lot of hills going through that. You can find me at Jimmy P is Funny, or just copy and paste my last name from the show description. Don't try to spell it yourself. It's really kind of pointless. It's like this guy eating a last meal. What's the point? Right. What's the point? Just give it to somebody else. Just copy and paste. Who gives a shit? With that said, thank you guys, everybody. See everybody at the live shows this weekend. We cannot wait. And until next week, everybody, it's been our pleasure.
Bye.
If you like Small Town Murder, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
A few miles from the glass spires of Midtown Atlanta lies the South River Forest. In 2021 and 2022, the woods became a home to activists from all over the country who gathered to stop the nearby construction of a massive new police training facility, nicknamed Cop City.
At approximately 9 o'clock this morning, as law enforcement was moving through various sectors of the property, an individual, without warning, shot a Georgia State Patrol trooper.
This is We Came to the Forest, a story about resistance.
The abolitionist mission isn't done until every prison is empty and shut down.
Love and fellowship.
It was probably the happiest I've ever been in my life.
And the lengths we'll go to protect the things we hold closest to our hearts. Follow We Came to the Forest on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus.